It's a gorgeous Friday, and we're here at the Home Lodge. Landry Roberts, Pat Smith, Orlando. Live here from Twin Peaks in Hoover. The doors are going to open, 1 hour from right now?
1 hour.
Is that correct?
That is correct.
59 minutes exactly, as we're going to be here until 2 o'clock. Got a lot of great specials. Come and enjoy all of the Masters action that we have on all of the televisions. Great food, great drink, and all kinds of specials. Conrad Van Order is anchoring things from the studio of Jocks 94.5. Molly will be back with us next week. Pat, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you? I know you had a busy night last night. You were out at the Stallions get-together at the Fennec. You stayed up late for your Atlanta Braves, so it was a busy time for you last night.
I had that Tarjay run with the wife right about
During
the time the
storms?
weather hit. Yeah, that was a whole lot of fun, but all in all, I really can't complain. Coach Skip Holtz, the team, some of the members of the team, it was a great meet and greet that we had at Ramblers Sports Bar and Grill, and a lot of folks turned out. And it seems like they're in good spirits and in the right mindset to go out and get another win.
It will be interesting tonight. That's the first Friday night game that we've had in Birmingham in a very long time for the spring football, whether it was back in the 80s with the USFL and, of course, the USFL, the new edition, and now the UFL. So that will go on tonight down at Protective Stadium. So much to get into today. We've got an update on Nico at Tennessee, what's going on with him. We will continue to follow the Masters. Looks like another gorgeous day over in the state of Georgia. As I'm sitting here looking, Landrum, and your group of golfers did pretty well yesterday. Molly had a good day. I wish I could say the same for Conrad, but Conrad, your amateur, just did not do a very good job yesterday, the Alabama graduate.
Yeah, unfortunately not. Nick Dunlap coming in last place yesterday. If you were listening to the show, I don't think that comes as a surprise to anybody. But not only that, but look, it's rough when you come in last place at the Masters, let's be honest. But it's significantly worse when you come in last place by 11 strokes. So you can't even say, oh, well, I was 11 strokes off the lead at Augusta. Okay, that's fine. No, Nick Dunlap is 11 strokes off of being the second to last place participant.
He shot a 90.
Rough day. Yeah,
he
rough
shot
day.
a 90.
Look, and he played here locally, and I don't know Nick Dunlap. I don't know his family, but I know a lot of people that do know the Dunlap family and either coached or know Nick, and from what I hear, they are just fine people. It's hard to ignore what happened yesterday. And also, you have to remember, he's still very young in his career, but look at already the accomplishments that Nick Dunlap has had.
Sure.
Just Augusta National, for whatever reason, and a lot of golfers can say this, it can be very cruel at times, and yesterday it showed the utmost cruelty.
The highest score since 2015 when Ben Crenshaw,
Landrum Roberts.
Ben Crenshaw was 63 years old when he did it. He shot a 91.
Okay.
And
So
we
Nick's
talked about it
21.
yesterday, and I think you do have to commend him for not pulling I got
Listen.
back tightness, I have to withdraw. He
He's
took it on
there.
the chin.
He's playing.
He manned up.
Yeah, hats off to him. I mean, we're not criticizing. We're just stating a fact. He shot a 90.
It's easier
double
to talk
bogeyed
about the
final
90
hole.
considering the fact that he has already won 2 more tournaments than a lot of guys that have played on the tour forever have ever won.
All right, let's have a little fun bet between the three of us. Do you think he breaks 90 today?
Surely, you have to, right?
Well, yes.
I thought that was going to be an easy answer by y'all. And you just absolutely just said,
All right.
kind of thinking about it.
Well,
I say yes.
As bad, you're right. As bad as it was yesterday, if there were nerves or anything, you're not going out there with any nerves today. What's there to lose?
And don't you think he probably picked up a couple of areas that, you know what, I think I probably need to approach this hole a bit differently than I did before?
Probably. He was
No,
probably.
all kidding aside, would you take him below 90? That's the thing that we're going to watch today.
Yes, I believe in you,
I do
Nick.
too. Yeah, I think he breaks 90.
I mean, it just has to be demoralizing to look at
You
yesterday.
go a little lower?
Yeah, I want to go lower.
Just you look at yesterday and you go, all right, the leader in the clubhouse right now is Justin Rose at 7 under. I could play as well as the best player did yesterday, go 7 under, and still be in last place by 4 strokes.
Okay, what about 85? Do you think he breaks 85?
Ugh.
Yes.
I say he does.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have a good.
Come on, Nick.
No, I'm not saying he's going to be in like the top 10 finisher for the
No,
day.
here's.
But I think he breaks 85.
I will say that
I'll go
he goes
81.
77.
You're going 77?
I'm going 77 for Nick Dunlap
So
today.
you've got him breaking 80.
Yep, I believe in you, Nick.
Conrad says he's going to break 81. I say he breaks 85.
Okay.
I like the confidence, Landrum. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, you need it. I was tabulating the scores last night, and I couldn't remember who Molly's fifth golfer was. I had all the Pats, I had all of yours, I had all of mine, and man, I was just that's tough to card an 18, buddy.
Yeah, that's tough. Very tough. Okay, so Justin Rose started yesterday with 3 straight birdies. He shot 7 under 65. He left the course yesterday with a 3-shot lead. Now already on the course this morning, he birdies number 2, but then he bogeys number 5. He's parred 6 and 7, so he's currently at -7. My golfer, Oberg, he has just birdied number 3, so he's 2 shots back at -5. DeChambeau, that's Conrad's golfer. He birdies number 2. He's at -4 right now. So Conrad looking good so far early this morning.
Things looking up.
I mean, that's the only golfer that you got looking up, but at least you're looking up.
Yes, that's right.
I have got,
victories.
let's see, total today, I got Brooks Koepka. He is 2 under today. Patrick Cantlay is 1 under today. Scotty Scheffler going off at 12:23 Central Time along with Justin Thomas. And then right after that, you're going to have Jordan Spieth. So everybody's, well, except for Conrad right now. Everybody else is still in the mix for our show thing.
You know, we're talking about Rose, and what's so amazing is that none of us took Rose as one of our golfers. He set one of a Masters record yesterday. It was the 5th time he's at least had a share of the lead, the 18-hole lead, breaking the mark held by Jack Nicklaus. That's amazing. Rose putted only 22 times yesterday. Amazing for a round there in Augusta. Scotty Scheffler, big afternoon. He played bogey-free, shot a round of 68. Roy McIlroy took a pair of double bogeys late in the afternoon. Careless mistakes. He had to settle for a 72. It was the 7th straight time, Landrum, that he failed to break 70 in the opening round of the Masters. That's why a lot of people were saying this week, yeah, I think it's Rory's time. But then you look at these stats, and it just, you kind of scratch your head. I don't know what it is at Augusta for him.
Yeah, and he played flawless golf, and then towards the end, what was it? Was it 15? The par 5 where he had, and then the 6 on 17.
Yeah.
I think the 2 double bogeys. But other than that, it was really good. But he's off to a good start today. He's at 1 under par.
Okay. Good for him. Fred Couples, 65 years young. He became only the 2nd player of his age to break par. He holed out from fairway number 14 with a 6-iron on his way to a 71. So he was kind of one of the other big stories yesterday. The scoring average day 1 was 73.59. Rounds in the 60s, 6. Subpar rounds, 26. So, and I was watching the Golf Channel last night, and they were talking about if you take the course average for the Masters 10 years ago, it was 73.9. If you go back 10 years before that, it was 73.9. If you go 10 years before that, it was 73.9. So the course played tougher yesterday. They scored better yesterday than they did in the other years. Almost a half stroke better.
Yeah, we'll see what.
See what the grounds crew has to do with the pin placements today?
They tend to get really, really creative, especially on a Saturday. So what some of those pin placements look like tomorrow will be fascinating.
All right, so the other side story to what took place yesterday in Augusta. So Jose Luis Ballester, a Spanish amateur champion from Arizona State, he did something on the 13th hole that I believe that's never been reported before.
Played with shorts.
Take a listen to what he had to say after his round yesterday. This is the Spanish amateur champion from Arizona State.
Well, I completely forgot that we had those restrooms on the left of the tee box.
Oh, okay. 13th tee.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct. And then I'm like, I really need to pee. Didn't really know where to go, and since JT had an issue around the green, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to sneak here in the river. Probably the people would not see me that much, and then they clap for me. Probably one of the clubs that I really got today, like real loud. So that was kind of funny.
Are you concerned that there might be any blowback from that at all? Or I mean, obviously, they did see you, right?
Yeah, they saw me. They saw me. I mean, it was not embarrassing at all for me. So if I had to do it again, I would do it again.
As strict as far as tradition and everything else at Augusta National as they are, it seems about everything. I'm just guessing that Augusta National, the members, folks that are running this tournament, they understand. They've been there, and I think they give him a pass for going and taking a whiz in
Rays Creek?
in the creek.
Yeah, he called it a river. I don't know where he's from.
Bless his heart,
creek.
we've all been there.
Well, sure, but you're at the Masters.
Well, I understand that, Pat, but are you going to walk around with?
There's access like right off the tee box.
No, he is a visitor to this country. He has only been here for 4 years playing college golf.
I mean, listen. As everyone that listens to this show knows, that I'm very fond of the city of Tempe.
Yes, you are.
And so, I guess he does certain things in the, the local watering holes. Maybe
I was about to say. I think what is maybe socially acceptable in a place like Tempe is maybe a little different than when you're on the grounds there at Augusta National.
But when it hits you, it hits you. And he's just lucky that it was the old number one.
Well, here's my thing. I mean, seriously, what if he decides to go do that, and there's
okay, don't go extreme here.
It's not extreme.
Where he's going to have to register.
Exactly.
Oh, my goodness.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Oh, I thought Pat was going gator in the pond or something.
No, I mean, listen, I've had buddies in construction that have been on job sites. And you were in construction. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And sometimes maybe, okay, the Porta-John is occupied or something's going on.
I hadn't been serviced.
Yeah, exactly. And so they venture off into the woods. And I had one friend that ventured off into the woods to relieve himself. And what?
He got bit?
No, he didn't get bit. My point is that he didn't realize, because he was new to the area, that there was like a pedestrian walking track back in the woods. And all of a sudden, here's two ladies walking on the pedestrian track. And so, boy, he zipped that thing up in a hurry. He tried to, because all of a sudden, he's going to be getting some trouble.
That's when I just start, speaking in what would be portrayed as a foreign language.
He would have been better if he would have
just
very
confused.
If he would have just waded into Rays Creek, like up to his waist, kind of like you do at the ocean. Like when you got to go in the ocean, you just walk out to like the sandbar, and then you do what you got to do, and then you come back, and nobody knows what's going on. That's what he should have done in Rays Creek, instead of just dropping trowel and deciding to relieve himself in Rays Creek.
I think I see an opportunity from our golf manufacturers, kind of like the NASCAR guys.
Yes,
just
you're right.
Put the I don't know what you would call it. You can call it the fanny trap or.
Oh yeah, who was that admitted that they relieved themselves in the Kyle Busch maybe? Yeah.
I'll tell you a story in the break.
I'm sure you've got.
I had an
stories.
experience, and it was somebody's got to help me. Somebody flagged down that cart lady.
Oh, I think you've told me this story.
And I need 7 of those cold towels.
You've told me that story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awful.
Yeah, that was bad. That was.
But you know what? It got to the point where I didn't care what.
No. When that happens, you just have to deal with it.
I'll get an attorney and I'll fight it.
Conrad, I think you've got a interesting poll question that we're about to release, correct?
That is correct, Pat. It's actually hot off the presses right now.
Okay, let's go to it.
At the number 3-man front there on Twitter, you can vote. So the question is, should Jose Luis Ballester be disqualified from the Masters after peeing in Rays Creek? And you have 2 options, very simple. Yes, it was disgusting, or no, he just had to go. And right now, voting is still early on here. 75% of you, though, saying no, he should not be disqualified. You got to go.
Listeners. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I've been there. What's his name? Jose
Luis Ballester.
We know Conrad's stance.
But you know what? Before he decided to, I've got a theory. Before he decided to pee in Ray's Creek,
Yeah.
he was making headlines because the god awful outfit he was wearing. Do a search if you hadn't seen him.
I didn't see that.
He's got an Arizona State cap on with the Arizona State logo of the script writing of the university. It's backwards. It's like you're looking in a rearview mirror. Yeah, it's bizarre. And he was getting
People were not happy about it.
So
no.
in my Google search, these are the first things that come up.
P. Yeah.
Score. Hat.
Yeah, look at his hat. People were not happy. They thought he was disrespecting the Masters by wearing that hat. And he said, well, let me kind of, take away from all the attention on my stupid hat, and let me just wade off into Ray's Creek and do what I need to do.
Relieve myself.
Yeah.
What was the score yesterday?
Oh, hold on. I'll tell you. I got it right here. He shot 4 over 76.
Not bad.
Mm-hmm. He tees off today at 12:23.
Well, we all know who he is now.
He definitely pees in the shower. No way that he doesn't.
Did you see his hat?
It's acceptable there in Spain, Conrad.
Those Europeans.
Guess I'm moving to Spain.
You can't find his hat?
Why is this so hard? Arizona Central. What have y'all done to me? Okay, I'll find it.
All right, we'll let you check that out during the break.
I brought this. You need to wear this. Justin, you look great in this.
Now Justin would look good in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, put it on.
It's my hat. Don't look at it. It doesn't have
He
lights.
didn't get it at Goodwill.
Goodness
That's
gracious.
his.
Yes.
Yeah, that looks good.
It's a great look.
You should wear that around the office.
We'll tweet that out.
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah.
Looks real
You're
good.
doing like your best Payne Stewart. God
Yeah.
rest his soul. Yeah.
We are live at Twin Peaks. Doors are going to open up at 11 o'clock. Come on by, have lunch, watch some Masters, hang out with us. We'll be here until 2 o'clock. Go to Twitter. We want to hear from you. We want to get your vote. Should he be disqualified from the Masters?
I want one of these
for
hats.
peeing in Ray's Creek?
That's a good-looking hat, Pat.
You like that hat?
Yeah.
Backwards Arizona State.
Yeah.
Something
Reverse
tells
Sun
me
Devil.
those sold out pretty quickly yesterday.
Probably did. More three-man front on this very interesting Friday as we get things kicked off. We'll give you a Nico update when we come back. What's going on with the star quarterback in the University of Tennessee? There has been an update. We will tell you that next on Three-Man Front. It's 10:21, Jocks 94.5. We're live at Twin Peaks and Hoover. Come on by and see us. We'll be here until 2 o'clock. Masters update quickly. Rose has just birdied number 8, so he now goes to -8. He has a 3-stroke lead over Oberg in DeChambeau. DeChambeau has just birdied number 4, so Bryson has come out of the gate ready to go.
Well, the spring weather here in Alabama can be really unpredictable, and that's why you need the reliability of a Trane, voted America's most trusted HVAC brand. And right now, you can receive up to a 10-year warranty on parts and labor on select Trane home comfort systems. Go find out more today online at Trane.com.
All right, so yesterday afternoon, we were telling you the breaking news story coming out of Knoxville, Tennessee. Pete Nakos of On 3, he was reporting that Nico in Tennessee was negotiating a new contract. Well, the father of Tennessee quarterback, Nico Iamaleava, said that he had no idea about the reported negotiations over his son NIL contract. As I just mentioned, yesterday, Pete Nakos of On 3 reported that Nico is negotiating a new multi-million-dollar contract just before the transfer portal window will open up on Wednesday. Now, late Thursday night, Nico's father, Nick, responded to the report on social media. He claimed ignorance of any negotiations and pointed out to an unnamed UT staffer for feeding the story to Nakos. On Twitter, Nick Iamaleava said this: more games being played off the field than on the field. Nakos from On3 Sports called and asked me directly. I told him I had no idea of what he's talking about. He said his close source that he trusts with his life from the University of Tennessee gave him this information, so y'all can ask them what's going on because it ain't from us, ! That's what Nick Iamaleava, that's what he said on Twitter about his son, Nico. Now, Nick did not respond to the Knoxville News Sentinel request for a comment. Spire Sports Group, who actually pays Nico, they did not respond to a request by the Knoxville News Sentinel. And moments ago, so I just read you what his father said, right? Moments ago, VolQuest's Austin Price is reporting that Tennessee sophomore quarterback Nico Iamaleava was absent from Friday's practice at the University of Tennessee. The spring game is tomorrow. And part of Pete Nakos' original reporting was that there was a question whether he would even play in the orange and white game because of these negotiations. The father last night says this is news to him, did not know anything about it. So why is his son not at practice today?
Maybe Nico's his own man now. He's handling his own business. This is just and Nico this will kind of set it off, but unfortunately, I don't think this is the last time we're going to hear about a situation like this.
No, God no.
This is just, and here's the thing, for our listeners who might be or may not be have been privy to some things that have not been reported, but this has happened before with players that you would know and programs that you certainly recognize. It just didn't make print. It just never came out on airwaves. But this is the harsh, cruel reality of not only college football, but now intercollegiate athletics.
As I mentioned yesterday, Miami's Carson Beck and Duke's Darian Mensah, now Mensah's supposedly, reportedly getting close to $4 million at Duke. Carson Beck is supposed to be north of $3 million at Miami. Nico got $2.2 million at Tennessee.
And we've been through contract stuff, but if it's just me, and this is preference, and Nico, you be Nico. This is your decision if you're choosing not to because you're trying to leverage to get another deal or renew your deal or whatever's going on. But in good faith, I would go ahead and I would practice because I didn't want to let my teammates down. It's not a good look. It's not a good look, and if I'm Heupel, I'm just whatever hair he has left, I'm pulling it out.
And now Pete Thamel's reporting the same thing that Austin Price from On3's VolQuest reported moments ago, that Tennessee's quarterback did not attend Tennessee's spring practice today. He's been in conversations with Tennessee about a new contract. The no-show of practice came as a surprise.
Maybe it's just a coincidence.
Yeah.
Maybe he's got a stomach bug.
It's just a misunderstanding.
He forgot he had
he had some bad
class.
wings.
Yeah, he had or bad wings. Could have been that. Not a good start. Not a good start to or an end to your spring, however you want to look at it. For a guy that it's not like he put up.
I mean, he wasn't in Heisman consideration last year, but he had a good year.
He didn't put up Hendon Hooker numbers.
No, he had 2,600 yards passing, 19 touchdowns.
Would you view him as a top 5 SEC quarterback going into the year? Because I would not.
No.
I would not.
No. But please don't immediately ask me to name you the 5 that I would have ahead of him.
No, but I mean, I think we would all, Sellers, Nussmeier.
Okay, that's 2.
Maybe, take your pick if you want, a Ty Simpson or a Jackson Arnold, and maybe you feel good about them, throw them in there. But, yeah, I mean, I would definitely feel good about Nuss, Sellers, Lagway. Arch Manning.
Yep.
I'd probably put Stockton over him as well because, I mean, hey, you saw him beat Texas.
Who's the new guy at Oklahoma?
Yeah, Mateer. He would definitely be up there.
Yeah, he's going to be there.
See, I mean, right there, just off the cuff, I mean, that's 6 guys that we would have ahead of him.
So let me ask you this, Conrad. If Milroe had done the same thing last year before the A-Day game, what would have been the reaction for most Alabama fans? Would they have been like,
See ya.
See ya?
See ya.
Sitting and packing?
Yeah, because you don't want one player to at least the optics of it to look like one player is essentially holding your program hostage. And
so what do you think most Tennessee people are doing today?
I think a lot of them are saying see ya.
Yeah.
Don't let the door hit you on the backside, man.
And that's why this situation's so interesting because, unfortunately for Tennessee, your hands are kind of tied, right, in the standpoint of, well, who could you go out there and get to replace him this year?
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of people that in an ideal world, you would look at this situation and go, okay, if you're going to play hardball, that's fine. Go enjoy your career somewhere else, and we're going to go bring in another quarterback that actually wants to be here and is committed to the University of Tennessee. So it's again, like I said yesterday, I genuinely have sympathy for Tennessee for the first time in my life.
Well, but you've already invested so much in this guy, and you don't have a guy that's probably ready-made that you feel like can replace his skill set. So once again, you got a student athlete. I'm not saying it's this case because you have some situations that are seamless and there's never any hiccups. But another case of a student athlete or a employee holding their employee or employer over a barrel.
Yeah.
And that's where he's got him right now.
So if you're just now tuning in, the big story is last night, Nico, Iamaleava's father, he went on social media and said he had no idea what all these reports were talking about. He even talked to Pete Nakos because Pete Nakos called him and obviously asked him the quote and talk about the ongoing negotiation. He said he knew nothing of it. Meanwhile, somebody in that Tennessee athletic department is the one that gave Pete Nakos the idea that there's a problem and we're negotiating. And then just moments ago, ESPN and VolQuest, which is the On3 site for Tennessee, they're reporting that Nico was a no-show at practice today.
Well, if Dad is not aware of it, if he does have representation, because that came up in the lawsuit, didn't it? That he's represented by some firm or marketing agency, whatever. Are they calling these shots? Is he just putting his trust in them and them saying, hey, we're going to handle this business. You just sit tight.
We will see what happens. That
Crazy.
is a developing story this morning, along with what's going on over in Augusta, Georgia. We are live at Twin Peaks. Coming up next on Three Man Front, the old coach, Wimp Sanderson, will join us next on Three Man Front. It's 10:34, Jocks 94.5. We're live at Twin Peaks. We'll be here until 2 o'clock. Come on by and see us as, man, these star-studded group of golfers have just gone off a few moments ago, and it's going to be a beautiful day. It's 64, light breeze there in Augusta, Georgia. It's just a picturesque day over on the banks of the South Carolina border. Man, this is looking like it's going to be a good day there in Augusta.
Second-generation masonry, great Alabama-based company. They specialize in commercial and residential construction. But if you're a homeowner, a lot of you are, they can update your outdoor curb appeal, whether it's an outdoor kitchen, fire pit, fireplace, decorative stone, patio, driveway. They can do it all. And, yes, they can pour a slab, and they can get that thing just super, super tight. But if you're a commercial construction operator, you're a superintendent, a project manager, an estimator, they handle commercial construction as well, and they're a dependable sub that you can trust. Second-generation masonry, secondgenerationmasonry.com. Get the free quote today, and as always, tell them Landrum from Three Man Front sent you.
So one other thing I'm going to talk about Nico before we get Coach Wimp Sanderson on is that Chris Lowe, who is a Tennessee alum, who you can see at all sorts of Tennessee sporting events wearing Tennessee gear all the time. He just tweeted out a moment ago from ESPN that basically the staff was shocked that Nico did not show up to practice today. So just kind of keep a look on Chris Lowe's account because he's the biggest Tennessee fan you're going to find anywhere. So if he tweets something, just pay very close attention to that.
WWWD in a situation like that. What would Wimp do? The Coach, Wimp Sanderson, presented by our friends at Craneworks.
And joining us now on the Higginbotham Hotline on this beautiful Friday, Coach Wimp Sanderson joins us on the program. Coach, how you doing on this Friday?
I'm okay. I'm going to give y'all a little golf, a little football, a little basketball before I go to the football. All that deal with Nick, with Tennessee
Nico?
and Nick, it's the agent.
Think so?
The agent does not have a 4 or 6%. An agent could charge you 9%. I'll guarantee you when it's all said and done, you never find it out. It's the agent that's causing that. Anyway.
Before we move on from that, what would – I mean, again, we talk about this almost every week with you, just how crazy it is out there. I mean, if you're Josh Heupel and your starting quarterback is already getting over $2 million a year to be your starting quarterback, and now supposedly he didn't show up to practice today – because they're at an impasse for negotiations? Or
How would I handle
do?
it?
Yeah.
Here's what I would do. When practice is over with, as quick as I could, I would get to the coach. I'd be the head coach. I could get the assistant coach that recruited him. And I'd go to him and I'd sit him down and I'd say to him, I don't know if you realize this or not. Head coach is fixing to get rid of you. You're almost gone. Whether you're lying to him or not, that's what I tell him. I say, you're just about gone. So you better think about with your agent what you're trying to do. I'm not sure what you're trying to do, but I recruited you, and I worked hard with your parents. And your dad's come out and said, he knows nothing about it.
Right.
So it only goes one place, and that's to somebody that, hey, son, they're making money off of you. They're ruining your career. And I'm fixing to tell you right now, one more step or move by you better go in there and apologize for missing practice. And if you're not, I'm afraid your little butt's 88 and out the gate. So,
Coach, with the pressure to win, and I don't doubt that you would do that, but how many of these coaches would actually follow through with that if they didn't have that number two guy?
I might not follow through with it either. But I didn't say it. I had my assistant do it.
I was giving you the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the assistant do it. I didn't say this as the head coach. The assistant
coach was
was
the good cop.
Yeah,
I got hey, look, I got my little butt covered.
Yeah, that's right.
The assistant said it. The assistant said I'm okay. I didn't say it. When he walks into my office, I'm going to say, I don't know what you're thinking. Whatever you're thinking, it ain't good. And I would almost say I'm going to kick him off without doing so and let him rethink it that night. You better rethink this thing tonight. And by the way, you might want to rethink it with whoever your agent is. Okay, that's
and tell them to direct everything to Rick
I think that's
Barnes.
pretty good stuff right there. I think that's the way to handle it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's right or wrong. Okay, I'm not a friend of Nick's families. Don't know Nick at all. Keep up with golf a lot more than anybody's on your show. There are times that you play poorly. His score was ridiculous. I'm going to add that. But there are times you play poorly in golf, and you hit it behind a tree. You hit it where it can't be hit very good. But when you're at Augusta, when you play poorly, you get penalty shots. Now, there's a difference in playing poorly and just having an 80 or 79 when you're a pro, and playing poorly when you have hit it and you get a penalty stroke. And he got a pile of penalty strokes by that ball going over that ravine, those ravines, after he hits it on the green occasionally. And so he had a bad day. He's got to turn the page on it and try to get better. But I want people to understand that there are times that playing poor. There are two kinds of playing poorly. Where you just play poorly and you don't get many penalty strokes, but then when you get a pile of them, you get a pile of them with that way that thing is fixed there, where the ball goes into the water. The other factor is if I'm playing you two and I'm playing, I played pretty darn good. I have no effect on how you played. Both of you guys may have played that day and beaten me, because I think I walk in there thinking I played great. In other words, in golf or in basketball, I guard the guy and make him harder. In football, I knock the crap out of a guy. I do better. I'm playing against somebody. I'm playing by myself, and I played good. Guess what? Pat and Landon played better. Both of you played better than I did, and I couldn't do anything about it. And that happens. And I think sometimes people that don't really keep up with golf understand it that way. I think that makes sense to you.
No, it makes great sense.
I think it makes great sense. People may hang up and say, "Oh, Wimp was dull today," but I think that's
You're never dull.
I think that's good. I think that's the way it is.
Now, you've told us this before, but you've had an opportunity to play the course, correct? Numerous times
with Bobby Knight.
Oh boy,
Bobby, you can't move your ball. You can't throw your club. Have to tell him that. So. Bobby's one of these. I have and I wish I could get you guys to come over and see it. I got to find it. I have an hour film on Bobby taking a chipping lesson.
Oh boy,
by the assistant pro at Indiana University, and what his antics were when he mischipped it every time. Now, Bobby, get your hands this way. Bobby, do this, Bobby. Bobby, it was absolutely funny. It's the funniest chipping lesson. I've got it somewhere. I'll get you guys. It's the funniest chipping lesson you've ever seen in your life. He couldn't play dead in a cowboy movie. He just like me.
Did he have a good-looking swing, Coach?
No, it was okay. Yeah, he came. He had a pretty good swing.
So it was better than Charles Barkley's, right?
Oh,
yeah, probably was when Charles first started out. Yeah, Charles got a pretty good swing now, but he had a pretty good swing. But every shot affected him. And that's kind of the way I was. I was disgusted by the last shot, so I couldn't hit the next one. But if you're playing and just an amateur guy playing golf, sometimes you got to turn the page a little bit. But Bobby's one of those that just he threw that chair because he meant to throw that chair.
Didn't he try to keep you up all night by telling war stories?
Yeah, we got through playing at Augusta. He said Joe Ford, he's the big shot there. Joe Ford and I are going to stay up, and we're going to talk about all the wars that happened to here, because Bobby's a history mate. I said, I'm going to talk about my wars down in my bedroom, and I'm going to bed. We stayed right across from where they had the kids play the par 3.
Yeah.
I thought I was in hog heaven.
Oh my goodness!
Oh,
cool.
Yeah. We got to go where Nicholas and them stayed when they first went there. Whatever they called it. Coca-Cola took me over one time. It was great. So and he just that's the way Bobby was. So playing with Bobby was hard to deal with. I already told you all this. keep up. Y'all ask me what they got different listeners. The only game I got kicked out of in all that I coached was against Bobby. So I think
that was a great story. That
so
was good.
yeah, I won't tell that again. In basketball, I think if the two teams got in the finals, had they played each other 10 times, each would have won 5. I think they were that close. I think it's one dribble, one move, one whatever. I felt like that Auburn, in their situation, probably, if they look back on it, and I'm sure they have, made maybe not a real good adjustment in being ready to defend the guard, Clayton at all, and didn't recover at all against him. For him to make that many points was very costly to Auburn. I thought in a game that Auburn could have won, but I'm not coaching their team, and I'm not here to criticize coaches. I'm just here to tell you what I think. And either one of them could have. Florida was good. Florida turned the ball over a lot. Could have gotten beat 2 or 3 times in games and didn't, but they had a good year. So that's it. In football, Simpson, Mack, and Russell are the quarterbacks. Simpson's a little bit ahead, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Mack is known by the new offensive coordinator. Knows his goods and bads. Naturally, he's like Russell. He hadn't been involved with wideouts and so forth. Russell is, of the 3 that are there, Russell is the one that's the most lost as far as learning what they do. So it comes down to Simpson, Mack, and Russell. And people are bugging me about, who's ahead of who, and I don't think anybody's particularly ahead of them. I would say Simpson is ahead because he's been there for 2 or 3 years and knows what they're doing. So that's the thing I'd say there.
Coach, were you surprised by any names that have been coming out in regards to the Alabama basketball roster, those getting in the transfer portal? Any of those surprise you?
Not really, not too much. I forgot the big guy in the middle, but only had a 1-year contract. Stevenson kid didn't shoot it well. Has a lot of North Carolina connections, mother, sister, and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think that they recruited him based on you're going to shoot a bunch of threes when you get here, son.
Right.
And when you hear that, you'd like to hear that because you think you can. And he didn't shoot them very well. And he didn't play as well as he needed to play. So I really wasn't that surprised. Sears is gone, of course. 3 guards will be back. They got to get some players. They just lost this kid a minute ago to Arizona, who's a 5-star. They thought they had a shot at. Outside of that, I can't think of anybody else. One of Diabate went for money. Kentucky needs to get. Kentucky didn't play hard against Alabama. They quit on that. I mean, Alabama was better than Kentucky, but Kentucky got they didn't play hard that last game against them. But Diabate going there was a little bit of a surprise. I think the thing there was, I think in his mind, starting was a big factor. He wanted to start, and I don't know that he thought he was going to, and he hadn't started. And I think they sold him on that. Plus, they paid him a lot of money, of course. So I would say anybody else you mentioned, there's one other I can't remember that left, but Diabate was a surprise a little bit.
Stevenson, you thinking about him?
Yeah. I don't know enough about him. Everybody tells me he's very good. You have to revamp and start all over again, and I'm sure Auburn and Alabama both will do a good job there, and not start all over, but know who you got. And they got some players. You gotta get guys who fit. And Auburn did this so well this year, who fit because they're good players, but also fit because they're halfway decent people.
Right.
And because they're decent off the court, and because once you get them there, they like each other to some extent, and they don't worry about how much the other guy got compared to what you got. And I think that. And I thought Auburn got a bunch of guys who you don't knock your door down to get, but darn, they played darn great. I mean, they were very, very good. I've already told you my criticism of the loss, but they played good. And Alabama always gets probably a guy that's more recognizable. People think a little bit better about him because he's done a little bit more than Auburn has. I don't know why that is, but it seems like it's been that way the last several years. Did you guys have any thoughts about that at all?
As far as
either team getting players, I don't know who Auburn has gotten. I should, but I don't.
Auburn's got some visits, Coach, that have set up. They got a kid that from UCF in is it Keyshawn Hall that they were able to get that looks like a solid player, but it looks like they're going after some big guards, and they got to find a big man, and I don't know who that big man is. There's a few that have entered the portal. There's a kid out of Birmingham. I called his state championship game when he was at Ramsey, Keyshawn Murphy.
Yeah.
It's a 6'11" kid. I think he averaged, Coach, around 11, 12 points a game. But, they're trying to fill that thing out, too, and waiting on Pettiford to hear what he hears from the NBA.
Well, I'm going to do Jimmy Raines' banquet, but I have to MC that every year. And so I'll get Jimmy. I say, Jimmy, how much you pay for him?
There's nothing wrong with that now, Coach.
Yeah, I used to get around Jimmy, and anybody, all the coaches, he took us on trips. Spurrier and Stallings and Dye and all of us went on trips, and I could get around Jimmy, and if they need to find out something, I could get it from him. And once I introduced him to Stallings, I lost out. You got to go through Stallings to talk to him. Now he got all this stuff. He called me. He told me one day I was out there I done there working for him. He said, I'd love to meet Gene Stallings. He's got knife collections, and I've got knife collections. I want to see what kind of knives he's got. I thought, crap. Okay. I said, okay, I can line you up with him. So we got in this plane. And we flew over there. Flew over Tuscaloosa. We were down in Abbeville. I'm sorry, my dog's barking. We flew over to Tuscaloosa, and Beebs and Jim became great friends. And they've been great friends every neck of the way. So, Beeb's been in bad shape, not good at all. But he still, when we have the banquet, he always sends that plane out all the way to pick Beebs up to bring him. So he and Pat Dye are on board, and I'm on there with Nate Oates and not Nate Oates. I can't even think who I'm on there with. Barkley from Troy. So anyway. That's all I know. I told you a bunch of crap, but that's not. I didn't tell you crap, but I told you.
It's never crap. It's never crap.
Well,
Coach, tell us about.
I thought today's stuff was pretty good.
Oh, solid.
We give you a solid A+.
A+, Coach.
Okay. All right. Crane Works gets a solid A+ for everybody. Crane equipment rental in the Southeast for 30 years. Either 2.5 tons to 500 tons. That Crane Works will train the operators and the riggers and do the job that needs to be done. David Upton is absolutely terrific. Craneworks.com. They're located in Nashville, Mobile, Huntsville, throughout the South. They'll fix it, tear it down, or build it up for you. They'll have a rental works if you want to rent something. They will bring the operator with you so that they'll show you how. Now that you're renting it. You'll be able to use it, and that's worthwhile. So David and them are great. You guys are good. I appreciate y'all having me on. I thought I told you something today. Maybe I didn't, but if I didn't,
no, you did.
If I didn't, they can. They'll say this and say
Take a long walk off a short pier.
Take a long walk from a short bridge.
Yeah.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks. All right.
Coach Wimp Sanderson, presented by Craneworks on the Higginbotham Hotline. We continue live from Twin Peaks. Doors about to open here in Hoover. Come and join us. We continue. The doors are opening here at Twin Peaks. Got all kinds of specials we're going to tell you about here in the next hour. Masters round 2. Justin Rose on top of the leaderboard at 8 under, but others giving chase. A lot of notables teeing off a little bit later. We'll have full coverage. Keep you up to date on everything going on there in Augusta, Georgia at the 2025 Masters. Lots more to come. Barrett Salee. Finally, a good night for the Atlanta Braves. They walk off the Phillies at Truist. Now they take it on the road to take on the Tampa Bay Rays. Barrett joins us next. Your text, your phone calls, welcome. 800-239-WJOX. We're live from Twin Peaks. Come and join us here in Hoover. Hope to see you soon.
It is 11 o'clock. Doors are open here at Twin Peaks in Hoover. Come on by and see us. We'll be here until 2 o'clock. We've got the Masters on every possible screen that you can imagine here at Twin Peaks. Big night last night as the Atlanta Braves take out the Philadelphia Phillies in extra innings. We'll be joined momentarily by the pre- and post-game host of it. I'm surprised he's up. It was such a late night. Barrett
I was
Slade
up there.
with
I
us.
was up with him, too.
Yeah.
Did you not stay up for that game, Pat?
I did not.
They didn't have any live line?
I told you. I took the under.
Oh, that's right. Swelly pitched good again.
Yeah, he did. It was a good pitching duel. Yeah,
How about our friends at Dobbs Ford right there on Parkway East? Right now, the Goshen's and the wonderful customer service you're always going to get, and we've come to expect from our friends at Dobbs Ford. But right now, they got the employee financing going on, employee pricing. So you can go in and check out a great selection. It's Alabama's largest showroom selection of Fords, whether it's an Explorer, an F-150, a Mustang, a Bronco Sport, Edge. Check them all out, and they got a great pre-owned selection as well. But right now, on some of those new Fords, you can take advantage of that employee pricing, and your first payment is not due for 90 days, 3 whole months without having to make the payment, and you're getting the sport around that new ride. Dobbs Ford, DobbsFordBirmingham.com. Make sure to tell Joey, Rachel, and the entire team that Landrum from Jocks 94.5 sent you.
All right, let's, Conrad, if we can do this. If you were not up late last night, this is the way it sounded on Jocks 94.5 in the wee hours of the morning as Marcell Ozuna came to the dish.
Well, 1 to Ozuna. Swung on and crushed. Deep left field. Kepler going back. Here comes some late-night dynamite here at Truist Park. A walk-off home run by Marcell Ozuna. And the Braves win the game and the series. That was smoked to deep left by Marcell, and the Braves won it 4-2 in 11 innings. What a night.
I'm so glad that train horn did not continue to go like it did on the television broadcast. Apparently, the button got stuck. Barrett Sallee, who is a part of the pre- and post-game show for the Atlanta Braves Network, you can hear across our family of networks here on Jocks, joins us on the Higginbotham hotline. What was did we find out about that train whistle horn, whatever it was? Because that thing went on for 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's what they're doing now. That's what they're doing now. I think last night was mostly because of excitement after being there for however long we were there. I don't even know how long we were there. But, I guess they wanted to wake up the entire battery and all of Cobb County, so they just kept it going. It
was tough. I was trying to listen. Marcell Ozuna is not the easiest to understand in a post-game interview, and that made it doubly tough. But the Braves do get the win. Austin Riley had a huge hit there, and it seemed like, Barrett, it was going to be another one of those tough losses. Braves felt like they gave one away on Wednesday night. But last night you had the bullpen, you had some new additions that came in, and finally you got some timely hitting. Describe what you saw and what you think it could mean for the Braves down the road.
Yeah, the good thing is Austin is back. We kind of talked about that on the pregame show yesterday, how I think he was batting .333 over the last 4 games. And obviously yesterday he had had that big hit in the 11th. So that was really good to see. Swelly doing Swelly things. I don't think anybody expected anything less, but in a big game, it's always nice to see still a young guy come out and do that. So, all in all, it was a good game, but it wasn't a great game because of the left on base problem that still persists. But anytime you can get a win like that, especially one that's extremely screwy with the 2-hour and 45-minute rain delay, you'll take it, especially over a division rival. So mostly good things. I was very happy it didn't go to 12 because we have energy drinks at the studio, a fridge full of energy drinks. And I was shaking because I had so many of them because I never knew how long we were going to be there.
Well, Barrett, the thing that impressed me the most about the series, the Braves hit .289 against the Phillies.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like that you were going up against a pitching staff that was made up of a bunch of 38-year-olds. I mean, this was an impressive performance offensively the last 3 games.
Yeah, I mean, they knocked Wheeler around 3 nights ago, so that was huge. And then, Jesus Luzardo, I don't know if he's, a household name, but when he's healthy, we talked to Snit about this yesterday. He's like, when he's healthy, he's really good. He's, top of the line material. He just hasn't really stayed healthy. So you saw a little bit of what he's about yesterday. We saw it all season too, his previous 2 starts. So, it was big to get those bats working. And, I don't want to make excuses, but I'm going to. They were a little unlucky because they were hitting the ball hard more times than not, and they just weren't falling. And I know advanced metrics, you can kind of take whatever you want from them, but at some point the luck is going to even itself out. So it was just a matter of time. But I mean, I think the biggest thing is Austin Riley. I talked to him yesterday, and he said basically, hey, look, trying to go the other way all the time. He did it 2 nights ago with the big RBI, and then he did it last night with that extra innings double. So good things coming, that's for sure.
When you look at the return of Ronald Acuna Jr., when he gets back, now Spencer Strider, things certainly trending up. What is the expected timetable first for Strider, and then when can we expect Acuna?
Yeah, I mean, I would be absolutely stunned if Strider doesn't make a start in Toronto on normal rest, which would be Tuesday. I went to Auburn, Landon went to Auburn. We can't do math down there. But Strider's coming back. Next turn of the rotation, next week in Toronto, he's starting the game. Ronald is going to Los Angeles either Monday or Tuesday to go back to where the doctor that performed the surgery get checked out to do lateral movement, side to side, rounding bases, cutting in the outfield, things like that. Once he gets the clearance from the doctor, then I think you're going to see him probably go down to Florida for a little bit, maybe kind of like a pseudo spring training, and then come up and do a rehab week. Really just wherever it makes sense, whoever's around town, whether that be Rome, Columbus, or Gwinnett, stay relatively local so they can get him to Atlanta whenever he's needed. So I would late April, maybe early May, probably early May, and we'll see him up.
All right, I know it's a very short order in regards to looking at the data over the last couple of weeks, but you've been around this team now since they've been home. What's the general feeling in regards to getting everyone healthy, being able to come and take 2 out of 3 out of the Phillies? You got the Rays coming up next. What's the mood of the team right now?
I think the first game at the homestand was very weird. The frustration was clear. It was there. After that second game, that loss, it was like almost completely gone. And so the rain out last Sunday against the Marlins really helped, because the Philly series, it almost felt like they had completely hit the reset button, because it seemed like a normal team, right? Going up against Wheeler, they weren't pressing, so it basically the season hit restarted Tuesday. And so I think moving forward, they've kind of got their sea legs back, and they'll be fine. And we talked about this last week. The 7-game losing streak in the West Coast, yeah, you look at the record and it's 0-7. It's really like they lost 3 games or 4 games, because they were going to lose some of those anyway. So we're not terribly worried about it. And I think they know that. They understand, hey, it was a little bit more pressure coming back 0-7, but now they are comfortable with where they are, and especially when Spencer and Ronnie come back.
I kind of want to nerd out on a couple of additions. I thought De Los Santos looked pretty good out of the pen last night, and I was pleasantly surprised with Montero in the acquisition that they got from the Astros.
Yeah, here you go, old man. Go out and try to stop a great team in extra innings. And he did it. He's been. He was expendable from Houston. He got a big contract after 16 second-half saves, and he got it from Jeff Bagwell, who was the interim GM for the Astros for like 3 months. Yeah, he was the interim GM for like 3 months, and that was like his big signing. So he's probably not going to get a GM job again. But he's got that electric stuff. He added a little bit more of a slower changeup, because the speed differential was really what he thought got him in trouble. So, he's got good enough stuff to be effective, in the middle relief role in the bullpen. And seeing what he did last night, he's gonna get more chances. I'm surprised he didn't pitch earlier, because Smith's the kind of guy, hey, we acquired a new guy, hey, we called the guy up, let's go ahead and put him out there right now, right this second. Waited 2 days for Montero, but still, he looked really good.
I know that's not your beat anymore, but I do want to get your opinion on what's going on up in Knoxville, Tennessee, because this story continues. It's a fluid situation. A report came out yesterday that Nico, the quarterback at Tennessee, that they were wanting to renegotiate his NIL deal. He was already making about $2.5 million the starting quarterback at Tennessee. His father comes out on Twitter last night. He says, no, that's not true. Then this morning, multiple reports said that he did not show up at practice. And now Chris Lowe just reported a moment ago that before the winter portal window closed, they were negotiating. Nico's people wanted $4 million or more to be the starting quarterback in Tennessee. Just what do you do if you're Josh Heupel in Tennessee if this is true, that you've got your starting quarterback that's now trying to hold them over a barrel?
I basically said, all right, dude, do what you want. Because is a college quarterback worth that much? Not only money, but also headache? That's up to him to decide. But if you have somebody demanding that much money and treating your program like that, I would imagine, based on all the reports, it is not necessarily hostile, but maybe contentious. Is it worth the headache? I don't know. That's up to Heupel, but that's something I would definitely consider. And honestly, if Nico was good, is Nico great? Probably not really. So you have to sort of weigh the dollar cost average a little bit like that. So it's sign of the times, man, in college athletics. You're going to get more of it, but sure enough, it's the $8 million man, at least who we thought was the $8 million man doing this. And I don't know. I just don't think any quarterback's worth that much, especially if you have relatively limited payroll, which, I mean, comparatively speaking, every college is going to be hurting for some money if you spend $4 million on a quarterback.
The problem that Josh Heupel has, and there'd be a lot of head coaches that have this problem, Barrett. I'm looking at the depth chart right now for Tennessee. Behind Nico, you've got a redshirt freshman in Jake Merklinger, and then you have, it looks like a true freshman, and George McIntyre. Those names aren't ringing a bell, and maybe they're studs, and then the next coming of Peyton Manning. But I don't know how many options you have at this point, but I'm sure there's a lot of other quality quarterbacks that if you paid them $2 million, they would walk to Knoxville.
That's exactly right, and that's how you fight it if you're Tennessee. Say, hey, look, dude, you want 4? Well, I got this one dude who isn't as good as you, but maybe has just as much upside or close to as much upside. We're just going to go get him, and then you risk the relationship souring, but that risk is already being made by Nico if all this stuff is true. So it's he's not going to be the first. He's probably not the first because this has all probably happened behind closed doors. But in an age, I've always said, like when all this NIL stuff started, if you're a college athlete, you're in the golden age because there's going to be a lot of stuff that happens regulation-wise that prevents what's going on now to happen in the future. So good for him for going to get his. And, part of me sort of wants to think that, hey, maybe he realizes he's not what he was cracked up to be and needs to capitalize a little bit more right now rather than, waiting for what might or might not happen in the NFL.
Barrett, it took me a while before I could do this, but you caught a lot of grief from a lot of Braves fans unfairly because of the start and you taking over the roles of the pre- and post-game show. I want you to know this, that last night that walk-off doesn't happen if Kevin McAlpin is hosting that show.
I agree, and K-Mac was actually at the game too, so because he didn't show up to help me out, then, yeah, that curse is over. And I will say this, though, in the 2-hour and 45-minute rain delay show, which was just phenomenal radio. I don't know if they still give Marconi awards, but they should, and I should win that. It was Kevin did make an appearance as a different persona because there are characters that come out in the rain delay shows. So you guys have some homework to do. Create a fake persona and call in because we've had quite a few of those already, and they are wildly entertaining.
I will do that. You need to get the doppelganger that was in the stands last night that actually stuck around for Marcel Ozuna had a doppelganger. That dude's a hero. Last night. Yeah.
That dude's a hero. Like get him
Full
season
uni.
tickets.
Full uni?
Full uni.
Pants?
Including
sleeve.
the yellow
Pants?
sleeve. Yeah.
The pants.
Pants.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah. Even had a can of snuff
Get him
there in
season
the back
tickets.
pocket. Oh, it was great, and he never broke character.
That's fantastic.
No, he did not. Oh, and by the way, there were 2 sections behind the Braves dugout who definitely took advantage of the 40% off of alcohol deal. that the Braves put out there during the 2 hour and 45-minute rain delay. It was, if that game had gone, if it had a rain delay in the 8th inning, we would not have been there for 2 hours and 45 minutes. But they were going to get every single penny out of that alcohol deal, and those fans in section 2, whatever, right behind the Braves dugout, 214, they took advantage. They were loud, and you could hear everything they were saying to Bryce Harper and them. And let's just say there was no filter, or the filter was basically go as far to the edge as you possibly could before one of those players coming in there and starting to throw hands. So it was quite entertaining.
Well, Barrett, great job, great stuff. Go Braves. Let's go and get a sweep in Tampa. At least 2 out of 3. Just start winning series, chopping wood, right?
Yep, absolutely. Let's go Braves. And, hey, I'm serious. You guys got to come up with a persona, because we've got Stan the Man, the West Virginia fan, who, speaking of snuff, usually has a can full of snuff in his mouth at all times. So we've got him. I need you guys to come up with somebody so you can call in during the rain delay shows.
Okay, we will do it. I'll be listening tonight. Barrett, we always appreciate it, man. Thank you, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, guys. See you.
Barrett Salee, Braves pre- and post-game host. You can hear the game not only here on Jocks 94.5, but throughout the season on Jocks 2, 100.5, and Jocks 3, AM 690. We continue live from Twin Peaks in Hoover. They just brought a beer to me that I did not order, but that's the kind of stuff you're going to get here. They encourage. Man, that thing does look frosty and tasty.
They just look like you needed a beer.
Look like it. Pelham Gator is here.
Absolutely.
So come and hang out with us. Twin Peaks in Hoover. We got Masters on all of the TVs, and we'll keep you up to date for those of you that can't make it out here to what's going on in Augusta, Georgia.
Well, there was a lot of wind last night. Big storms came through central Alabama, and this time of the year you're going to get a lot of those. And that's why you need to have Golston Tree Service on your speed dial, on your phone. They took care of Justin Armstrong from our team at Jocks 94.5 yesterday. He had some storm damage. They were able to get a team out. They were able to take care of him. They can take care of you. Call them today at 205-337-4018. 24-hour emergency storm work. They can take care of you. And if you have other issues around your house, whether it's just some trimming of some limbs or complete tree removal, they can take care of all that for you. Call Golston Tree Service today. Don't wait another day. It's run by a certified arborist. He knows his stuff. 205-337-4018.
Update from Augusta, Georgia. We'll get you updated on the craziness. This thing just keeps growing. Nico Iamaleava, quarterback at Tennessee, but for how much longer? We'll get into it as we continue from Twin Peaks here on a beautiful Friday. Jocks 94.5.
Taking a look at what's going on over in Augusta, Georgia right now, and Justin Rose, man, he is having quite a day. He has just birdied number 12. He's getting ready for Amen Corner. He is now -9. DeChambeau, he's had a good front 9 so far. Through 7, he's at -6, so he's 3 shots back of Justin Rose right now. So it's
what time does our boy tee off?
Who's your boy?
Scotty?
No,
Nick Dunlap. We've got our predictions today for Nick. He tees off at 11:50.
11:50.
Yeah, so 20.
I thought you were talking about our other new boy, who is Jose Luis Ballester.
Oh, P-Gate?
Yeah, P-Gate, who peed in Rays Creek yesterday. And if you missed it earlier in the program, it's our Twin Peaks Twitter poll question of the day. How about that? Should Jose Luis Ballester be disqualified from the Masters after peeing in Rays Creek? And, Conrad, since you told us about this poll question about an hour ago, it has really shrunk between the no's and the yes.
Yeah, yeah, I like.
Do you see what I did there?
Hey, let's just stop. Let's not try to just breeze past it. Let's just appreciate what Pat just said.
I'm just glad you realized what I was trying to do.
Yes,
that was that was excellent right there. But you are right. The gap has certainly shrunk in terms of the voting. So yeah, the question was, should Jose Luis Ballester be disqualified from the Masters after peeing in Rays Creek? When we first gave you the results, it was 75% said no, he should not.
That's right.
But now that number is just 57% of you saying no, he shouldn't be. 43% of you say yes, he should be disqualified from the Masters. We have we have Anita who chimes in on Twitter, and they write in, sometimes we have to show respect and follow tradition. He should have been disqualified from the 2025 Masters and maybe even some other suspension or fine. So disappointed in the number of people who thought this behavior was acceptable.
And not to mention that Tricky Nicks on social media posted, history aside, it's public indecency. Doing it at a local municipal behind a tree is one thing. Doing it at a golf course like Augusta during the Masters in front of thousands of patrons and millions of people watching is a different thing. Circumstances matter.
Wait a minute, though. The way that this was described to me, that nobody could see him, he was off. He didn't just I
haven't seen the video.
Set up a stance in the middle of the fairway.
Well, at the end, because you could hear in the clip that we played, they went, when he was asked, so are you worried about there being any repercussions? Because, they could see you, the people could see you go into the bathroom. He said, yeah, I know they could see me, but, I'd do it again if I had to.
Never admit that that people can see you if you're doing that.
Probably not. I do like, going back to Twitter real quick, Zach, who writes in, he says, damn, I'm over 50 years old, and even I can hold it for 2 or 3 more holes to make it to a bathroom. The kid showed total disrespect for the event.
I respect Landrum can. He's got a bladder of a peanut.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a spastic bladder or
he takes one drink of water and
it comes on. I don't get any warnings. But doctor says everything's fine. It's probably just the amount of liquid that I consume is probably leads to all of that. I think it is. Yeah, Justin, he concurs. But he's gonna get to play today. Maybe
they're probably thinking he's not going to make the cut, and they will never invite him back again. Let's just move on.
Yeah, that might hurt future opportunities for him there at Augusta National. But a story that we will remember forever. Right?
Thank you.
How about our friends at Mystic Beverage? You want to go the non-alcoholic route, but you'd like to settle in, enjoy the weekend, maybe have an elevated vibe. It's great sparkling water that's made in Blount County, Alabama. It's infused with various cannabinoids, whether it's Delta 9, Delta 8, all kinds of stuff. But they have different moods that you can achieve with their products, and they're all available at your local Piggly Wiggly. My favorite is the Lift Blend, and it comes in 4 different flavors. You can go with the Southern Berry, the Mango, is really good as well. But the Lift has got the green coffee bean extract. So if you've got a long day, a long weekend, you need a pick-me-up, you're trying to stay awake for that game like I was last night and watching the Braves go past midnight to walk off the Phillies, well, it will pick you up. It'll keep you focused. It's safe to drink at work. But they also have the Nirvanic, the High Hills Delta 9, the Broadway, just a great alternative. You can find it. They're at mysticbeverage.com in Blount County, or you can find it at your local Piggly Wiggly. We appreciate our friends at Mystic Beverage.
All right, so let's just get you updated on the story that is the story in college football this morning, and it has to do with Nico Iamaleava, the quarterback at the University of Tennessee. So yesterday, as we discussed on this program, that Pete Nakos of On3 was reporting that there was constant negotiations going on currently between Nico's camp and the University of Tennessee. Well, last night, Nico's father, Nick, he went on social media and posted the following: more games being played off the field than on the field. Nick Iamaleava wrote on Twitter. Nakos from On3 Sports called and asked me directly. I told him I had no idea what he was talking about. He said his close source that he trusts with his life from the University of Tennessee gave him this information. So y'all can ask them what's going on, because it ain't from us. That's what he said emphatically on Twitter. Well, this morning, Austin Price from VolQuest, he reported that guess who wasn't at practice? Nico. Moments ago, Chris Lowe from ESPN, he tweeted the following. Right before the winter portal closed, Iamaleava, I can't even say his name right now.
Iamaleava.
Yeah, Iamaleava. His reps wanted to see the deal up to $4 million. $4 million. And that Tennessee officials were not going to blink. That's from Chris Lowe.
I don't understand why not try it this day and age in college athletics if you're Nico's camp? But you know that Carson Beck got what, $3 million?
$3 million, and the quarterback Mensa, who is now at Duke. Don't you find that ironic? Mensa, a very smart guy, going to Duke, right, from Tulane.
Just because you got an absurdly ridiculous NIL deal out of high school as a, five-star quarterback.
That's what started all the lawsuits.
But that doesn't – his stats don't back it up. This is where we need that new commission that comes in that's going to say fair market value. And they can look at his stats from last season and go, no, you're not worth $4 million a season. If I'm a Tennessee fan, I'm hot. There's actually one that's sitting across from us. He just came in to join us at Twin Peaks. He's got his Tennessee Vols shirt on. I would love to get his thoughts on this.
We'd love to hear from you on the text line, 205-834-9450 on the Courtesy GMC text line. Number of subjects that we can love to hear from you about. Nico, what would you do in that situation if that happened? If you're an Alabama and Auburn fan and your star quarterback decided to hold your team ransom for more money. Also, peeing in Rays Creek. Should it be allowed? Should it not be allowed? Got so much stuff going on.
If it wasn't Rays Creek, would it be okay?
Yeah, if it wasn't Rays Creek at Augusta, was it Roebuck Golf Course?
You went
down
Roebuck.
What?
You went Roebuck.
I played golf course there.
Did you wear a helmet when you went out?
You can buy golf balls in the creek there at Roebuck.
You just make sure that you're out there with some guys that can control their tee-ball.
Well, yeah, got to be careful with your car driving.
Love our friends at Roebuck.
Down First Avenue North. Got to be careful there.
Have a great day.
All right, we're at Twin Peaks. Come by and see us. This is Jocks 94.5. Just met Barnes, a great Tennessee volunteer fan who's here having lunch at Twin Peaks. And, you know, I love to see this in the SEC. You got a Tennessee fan and a Florida fan sharing a beer.
Yeah, well, but they made sure that they left a chair in between.
There is a chair in between them.
Yep.
So that's good. Yep.
They're working their way up. This is the courtship period.
Absolutely.
They're going to be best buddies by the end of the day.
Hey, Barnes, do you keep Nico or do you kick him to the curb? What do you do?
I just talked to him, though, but he agrees Nico is not worth $4 million a year.
Okay.
Well, it's a red shirt freshman and a true freshman. And their last names start with the letter M.
Yeah, Gaston Moore, old gas pipe, right?
Yeah.
That would be, let's see here. I don't know, Conrad, if you've got a recruiting profile on Jake Merklinger or George McIntyre.
Oh, nope. I do not.
Okay.
Interesting.
Couldn't tell you. Well, one thing I can tell you, though, this week was a prime example of it, and that's the spring weather here in Alabama. It can be really unpredictable at times, which is why you need the reliability of a Trane, voted America's most trusted HVAC brand. And right now, you can receive up to a 10-year warranty on parts and labor on select Trane home comfort systems. Just go visit them online to find out more at Trane.com.
All right, the Courtesy GMC text line is open, 205-834-9450. Myriad of topics we'd love to hear from you on this gorgeous Friday. Let's go to it now, Landrum, and I think we're all over the board, right?
Yeah, going back to the Twitter poll question of the day, which was should Jose what's his name? I keep wanting to say Jose or Maria Olazabal. But he did not do that.
It's Jose Luis Ballester. Mm-hmm.
JLB. We'll call him that.
Yeah, just call him JLB.
When you got to go, you got to go. I agree, man. But a lot of people disagree. Posey says he didn't have to pull a Diego Pavia.
That's true. I forgot about Diego.
There was a porta potty there on the side. It was Denny Hamlin, the NASCAR driver, who admitted to peeing in his suit.
Okay.
Cody says keyword of the day for the Masters is European. That's great.
That is really good. Because he is the Spanish amateur champion. That's just the way they do things over there.
Right?
Could his pants get any tighter, by the way?
No.
What is going on with Hatton and Augusta?
Know.
I mean, forget about somebody peeing in Rays Creek. Someone needs to talk to him about those pants being too tight.
When your clothing manufacturer sent you the box that you opened, did you try on any of the pants?
I mean, they're good-looking pants.
They're good-looking
too tight
pants, but can you even rotate in those pants?
I don't know.
Is that your guy? That's your guy, isn't it?
It is my guy.
You're screwed today.
Oh, because of his pants?
Yes.
Well, I didn't know that he was going to dress like he was
It might be cutting off his circulation. I'm just worried that his lower extremities are getting any blood.
Like he was going to a clubbing tonight or something.
It looked like he could have been trying to.
Oh, my boy Oberg, man. Taking a bogey on 8.
Oh, Ludwig. Not good. Jimmy back to JLB, Jose Luis
Olazabal. Now, that would be a story if it had been Olazabal.
If Sergio Garcia had done it, I'd have a totally different opinion.
Yeah.
He says, I went to Spain in 1987 with a church group. Just an inopportune time for the computer.
It's loading up the internet.
We'll get all that figured out. I think I know where he's going.
Here, I'll help you out here.
Thank you. Jimmy says, if I could, I'd give that guy my hat. Arizona State alumni's represent, assert dominance. Following up on, as it's now refreshed, I went to Spain in 1987 with a church group, and men were still peeing against the wall and in the subway.
Now, is it in Amsterdam where they have, near the canals, they literally have just, it looks like a phone booth, and it only covers you up from, like, the kneecaps up to around your chest, and, like, you literally go and you just pee right there in the street.
I never saw that when I was over there. I missed out on something, apparently.
I've heard about Amsterdam. That That kind of goes with everything I've heard about Amsterdam.
Right there. See?
Oh, wow.
It's called a pea curl. That's what it's called. Right there on the banks of
I want to ask both of you a question I need you to be honest. Pat, we have traveled together many times, and
We
you've
have.
had to stop for me.
multiple times. Yes, I did.
But have you ever been in a situation you got to go so bad, you pull off the interstate, you go in the bathroom, and it's either out of order or doors are locked?
And you do it in the sink?
No, doors are locked.
Oh, doors are locked.
Now, you
Okay.
would go to jail. You just did it in the sink right there in the middle of the gas station. But have you ever had to go so bad that you just resorted to it and went behind the station or found a bush or opened up
Yes.
your
Yes.
car door and your back car door?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah, I pulled off the side of the interstate before and done it.
My stepdad used to tell the story. He was doing work in a remote part of South Carolina, and all of a sudden he had one of those gut bombs that hit him, and the only option was to get out, pull off on the side of the interstate, and it was a remote area of South Carolina, and he sat over a guardrail.
See, now I can
And
say,
right about that time, a South Carolina state trooper pulled up.
Oh, boy.
Pulled up, saw what was going on, waved at my stepdad, and kept going. Yep. He used to tell the story. It was great.
See, I don't know about you, Pat. I've had a number 1 incident on the road. I've never had a number 2 like that.
No, I've never. Yeah, thank goodness. No. Yeah, I'm with you
No.
on that.
No.
Bucky's got some great bathrooms.
Yes. Yeah, Landrum wanted to, live there for, the whole afternoon when we
Same.
were going to the SEC Media Day.
Well,
Dude, they have clean
Will they
bathrooms.
bring me my sandwich in here?
Yo, bring me my pork barbecue sandwich here.
It's so
please.
nice.
All right, so I just sent you a picture of what we were talking about, Conrad, the pea curl.
See, I don't like that because people could see they could see the splashage or whatever from that, whatever that is. You know what I'm talking about, though?
Just read it to our audience. What does it say?
It says, the pea curl is a public urinal, many of which are found in the center of Amsterdam. They originated by the end of the 19th century. Oh, man, these old-timey ones are cool looking. They have, it's like you're peeing in a bell tower.
What if you didn't
Now
know
it's
and
like
you
a
thought that
glorified
was just a
garbage
little
can.
sheltered as you're waiting for the bus? Somebody comes in there. You're looking at your phone. Oh,
they repainted them all in 2008, though, Pat. That'll make you feel better.
Oh, good. Yeah, you always want a good new coat of paint on one of your pea curls.
That's
with
right.
this infusion into our economy, we are painting all the pea curls downtown. Back to JLB, Jose Luis Ballister's hat yesterday. Those types of hats with the upside-down writing are popular in young adults. That hat was not as egregious as the weird outfit Jason Day wore last year.
Yeah, we had somebody else tweet in the show and said their son is a young student at Auburn, and apparently there's some Auburn hats that are that way.
Tim, very nice. He said, did y'all say he went to school in Tempe? Mm-hmm. Brandon chiming in. And we will get to his taxes as soon as we can.
I'm trying to help you out here.
Yeah, thanks, man. 205-834-9450. As soon as I get this figured out on my end, I will get to your text and I will read them on the air.
We are live at Twin Peaks. Come on by and see us. We've got some great listeners who's joining us here. This is, what are we calling this area? The Home Lodge?
Yeah, Home Lodge.
Home Lodge?
Home Lodge.
That's what we're calling it?
Green
All right.
38.
Yeah.
It's, yes, today. That's a good call. We're on Green 38.
Yes.
So we're just off to the right of the main dining room.
Yes. So come on by and see us, have lunch, hang out with us until 2 o'clock. This is Three Man Front. We're live. Jocks 94.5. That was the song yesterday that Jose Luis Ballester was singing in Augusta as he was trying to find Rays Creek.
JLB just had to pee.
Yep, he sure did. Indeed did so. Go vote at the Twin Peaks Twitter poll question of the day. Should Jose Luis Ballester be disqualified from the Masters after peeing in Rays Creek? Right now, 56% of our audience says no, he just had to go. 43.8% says, yeah, it's disgusting.
I tell you guys about Rambler Sports Bar and Grill all the time. Last night we had the free event for the Stallions. Saw the likes of Don, Boomer, and others that were there, and it was a great turnout. And some of the folks that actually tried it yesterday, they said, well, Landrum, see what you were talking about. Awesome place to go and consume sports. It's an upscale experience. You can get in there. Hopefully we'll see you inside a Protective Stadium tonight as the Stallions take on the Arlington Renegades with a kickoff at 7 o'clock. But the pregame party, you want to tailgate, make it easy on yourself, you can do it there at Rambler Sports Bar and Grill. They're also open for lunch. Check it out. You're going to love the food. You're going to love the drinks. You're just going to love the vibe. And there's free parking as well. Rambler Sports Bar and Grill, they're at the Phoenix, 1630 2nd Avenue South. And make sure you tell them Landrum from Three Man Front sent you.
So we've been continuing to follow the story out of Knoxville, Tennessee about Nico and whether it's a negotiation, whether he's trying to hold Tennessee over a barrel, or this is a bunch of nothing. He did not show up at practice this morning. You've got the orange and white game that's going to happen tomorrow. So is he going to show up? Is he going to play for Tennessee if he doesn't get $4 million a year? All those questions are being thrown out there right now. Jamie Bailey just tweeted into the show, and he asked me if I think that he would actually transfer. And my answer is yes, Jamie. I do believe, because I think Tennessee is going to draw the line in the sand. I think they're going to say enough is enough. You've got a good deal. Here's the deal that you agreed upon. And if you want to go elsewhere, see ya. There's already rumors about West Coast teams potentially be interested, which makes sense. He's a California kid. So we'll see.
Would that be potentially a Oregon deal?
I would think, maybe USC?
I'm just trying to remember. I've got to update on the portal because we have movement. We have so much movement at the end of every season. I know it's not Dylan Gabriel. Who is the heir apparent to Dylan Gabriel at Oregon? I'm glad that I'm not the only one that doesn't know.
Yeah, I don't.
It's, what's his name? I think Dante Moore, maybe?
Okay. But Oregon seems like if he was going to go back to the West Coast, that would be a school that would not balk at maybe paying in the range of $3.5–4 million for a quarterback.
Right. I agree.
Who knows? Maybe Harsin convinces Justin Wilcox at Cal that they need a quarterback that bad, but I think they've kind of reloaded their quarterback room.
And I'm going to go back to Chris Lowe's tweet about an hour ago. He said right before the winter portal closed, Nico's reps wanted to see his deal up to $4 million range. And again, this time as the spring portal opens Wednesday, and according to sources, Tennessee officials said they weren't going to blink. So that's the answer that apparently the sources to Chris Lowe have told him, that they will not blink.
Well, and think about how that, if he does leave, then all of a sudden Tennessee has to scramble. Well, talk about affecting maybe somebody else's roster in the SEC.
Well, and that would be my question is, all right, let's say Nico did enter the portal. Does that then lead someone else out there in the country that we're not talking about? They then jump in the portal and go, oh, well, I'd rather go to Tennessee. Or I'd like to, what my opportunity would be at Tennessee as opposed to where I am right now.
And you know what? Maybe Josh Heupel,
effect.
Yeah, maybe Josh Heupel's looking at it that way. Maybe Josh Heupel's like, you know what? Maybe if this domino falls, then maybe some other guys with the portal opening up Wednesday. A lot of spring games, spring practices are concluding tomorrow. I've already heard some rumors out of Alabama what potentially could happen on Wednesday in the quarterback room. So
this would have to be, though, somebody outside of the SEC, correct?
Yes.
For this portal window.
In order
That's
to
still
play
in effect.
in the fall, yeah.
That is correct. If you want to play in the fall, it would have to come outside of the SEC. That's the only limitations that the SEC currently has, is that if you wanted to play in the SEC, SEC on SEC transfer had to happen in the winter portal, not the spring.
Hey, money talks. And there's somebody that probably could find a reason to be disgruntled about the current place that they are. But I'm just, I'm a Tennessee fan. I'm not happy about it. No. But I understand Barnes' perspective. It's not his money. I mean, ultimately, I guess if he gives to the program, it is his money. But you got to have a quarterback, and there's a lot of high expectations.
Well,
the expectation right now is they're going to make it back to a college football playoff by a lot of people.
Well, and I was just going to say, I think that's maybe Nico's thinking in this, right, is, all right, well, I'm going to hold them for ransom, and if they don't meet the number or they don't match the number that I'm asking for, well, who else are they going to go get? And so he feels like he's in a situation where Tennessee is ultimately going to have to give in to what he's requesting because he knows the market out there, and he's looking around going, there's nobody else out there that's better than me, or at least in his eyes. So maybe that's part of it for him, is he just saw an opportunity to have some leverage, and the information got leaked out, and so now it looks bad.
So our good friend SEC Mike, he is on social media right now, and he's asking the question, is Tennessee football in shambles? And he's drinking bourbon. He's drinking bourbon right now at 11:53. SEC Mike has never been shy of talking about his love for his Tennessee Volunteers, and he is openly right. Look, he's looked disheveled. Look at him. He looks beside himself. Tennessee football in shambles, question mark. And he's drinking bourbon, and it's 11:53.
When does that end? I'd love to get him on post-drinking bourbon.
Yeah.
To come on this show.
That's just what we need.
And speak his mind. Because I don't think I've ever heard him be critical of Tennessee.
You should have heard him. I was talking to him off the air last year.
He's crapped on everybody else in the SEC.
Well, let me tell you something. Talking to him last year before the Alabama game, I mean, he did not feel that Tennessee was – he thought Alabama was going to take him to the woodshed. I mean, he did not have faith in Nico last year, the week of the Alabama game. And I said, well, Conrad doesn't have the faith in Jalen Milroe, so you guys are on the same plane.
Okay, I'm looking for potential replacements outside of the SEC.
Guys that might be maybe in the portal Wednesday? Quarterback?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any chance that Josh Heupel with that offense goes after a Haynes King at Georgia Tech?
Well, he definitely improved his stock last year, what he did for Brent Key. I would say no.
Cade Klubnik, Clemson, no.
He's not leaving.
He's not leaving. Aller's not leaving Penn State, right?
No. I mean, maybe you hope one of the Ohio State quarterbacks, because they're saying, and whoever the other guy is that Ryan Day says they're neck and neck, maybe one of them bails and you scoop them up. I don't know.
But what's interesting is they put out, ESPN did their rankings.
What day did this come
heading
out?
into the 2025 college football season of all the quarterbacks available. And our buddy Adam Rittenberg put this out March 27th, so it hasn't been that long ago, a couple of weeks ago. And he has Nico Iamaleava as the 8th best quarterback coming into the 2025 season.
In all of college football.
What?
Yeah, I will give you the and we love Adam. And these lists are hard to put together. He's got Cade Klubnik number 1 out of Clemson. He's got Drew Aller number 2 from Penn State. Number 3, Garrett Nussmeier, LSU. Number 4, John Mateer, Oklahoma. Lenora Sellers is 5 from South Carolina. Number 6, Sam Levitt, Arizona State. Carson Beck at number 7, Miami. And then Nico comes in at 8. DJ Lagway is at 10. And Haynes King was at 9. Who knows? Does Tennessee cave? And then what does that mean? Because you've probably got some other agents, some other players that are seeing how this turns out. If they tell them to kick rocks, maybe that's a win for college football coaches and programs across the country. But if they cave, the chaos continues. We continue live from Twin Peaks here in Hoover. Come and see us. Top of the hour. 2 more hours to go here on a beautiful Friday on Jocks 94.5.
It is 12 noon. It's lunchtime. Come on by and see us. We're located Twin Peaks in Hoover. We're in the home lodge. Just come on in and see us. I see BB. BB's walking in.
That guy, he just stuck that whole wing in his mouth. He's just scraping the bone.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
There's nothing.
That's a very efficient way to do it. How about BB coming in her workout gear?
Yeah, it looks like she's been at the beach.
BB's so awesome.
BB, PG, Barnes. Hope to see you. Come on by and see us here at Twin Peaks. Big story today. We've been discussing the future of Nico at the University of Tennessee. It's very interesting what's happening up there. If you have not been following this story, I'll try to keep it as brief as possible. But in a nutshell, a story came out yesterday saying that Nico's representatives were negotiating a new contract with the University of Tennessee. Well, Nico's father goes on social media last night, says that is not true. Everybody's happy. No problem. This morning, Nico not at football practice at the University of Tennessee. All sorts of stories now making the rounds in which back in the winter portal, the Nico camp wanted $4+ million for him to stay at Tennessee. Tennessee officials said that they weren't going to blink, and so now it appears that we're at some type of impasse. The question is, will he be at the orange and white game tomorrow at 2 o'clock?
I'm gonna fire this question at you and Conrad. Player in the SEC, and you take into account not only how good of a player they are, but how much they mean to their particular team's success. If you're going to pay somebody this season $4 million out of the SEC, who is that player? Is it Lenora Sellers?
Be him or Nussmeier, probably.
Yeah, I would say those two would be top of my list.
I mean, as much as
I love
Ryan
Lagway,
Williams,
but got to see more.
Well, yeah, and as much as Ryan Williams needs to Alabama, and you'd love to have him, I don't think. Well,
it's just the nature of it. If you're paying somebody that much money, it's going to be a quarterback.
yes, right. He's going to touch the ball every play that you have it on offense.
But I mean, those are probably the only two guys that I would, if I had to sit down and stroke a check for $4 million. Nussmeier and Sellers would probably be the only two that I would feel like I was 90% sure I was going to get my money's worth from that deal.
But the crappy thing about this, if you're a collective or if you're another Power 4 program that has that kind of money, is if he does get this, and everybody else looks at the market and they say, well, Nico got $4 million. Look at my numbers. You don't think their representation is going to fight for them to get $4.5, $5? This is exactly what the college basketball coach that I told you, future Hall of Fame coach, when we were in San Antonio at the Final Four, was saying. So if the $4 million is accurate and he gets it,
So what happens if he plays bad this year? You renegotiate his deal. He goes out there and he doesn't show any improvement.
First pick, he'll get booed out of that stadium.
He's put a lot more pressure on himself, that's for sure. I mean, he already had a lot of pressure anyway because you're a starting quarterback in the SEC. Forget about how much money you're making.
Does he have, though, someone in his ear that is giving him bad advice?
Or what if he really does want to transfer to the West Coast?
Yeah.
And this is a way for him to just basically say, hey, okay, if I'm going to stay here, then you're going to pay me. If not, I'll go back west.
I'll be the first to tell you, I do work events for beach volleyball and all of that, and I've been around the indoor, and I've worked events for that. But supposedly that's his best sport. Volleyball, men's volleyball.
Oh, okay.
Which is huge on the West Coast.
Yeah, makes sense.
Not saying that we're going to get what we got with.
So this is a Tyler Buckner 2.0.
No. We're not. I'm not going that route. But I thought that was interesting and learning more about Nico, and apparently he's a very, very good volleyball player. But West Coast, if he wants to get out there and get back closer to family, Eugene, Oregon is where I would start. As far as the pockets and the ability to pay a quarterback $4 million plus, I don't know if they would do it. And maybe they're happy with the Dante Moore guy or whoever it was.
Right. So how do you think this ends up? I think when it's all said and done, he is still at Tennessee.
Yeah. They figure out something. Do we get our first deferred deal?
Okay, we'll pay you $2 this year.
Yeah.
Or maybe they say we'll give you $2, but you get us back to the college football playoff.
Yeah.
Like, we'll build you incentives.
How about incentives like you have with coaches?
There we go.
Yeah, get us back to the college football playoff, and you'll get your last $1 million.
Yep.
Get to the playoff and lose by less than 3 scores, and you get your bonus.
I want to know how much he has already received.
Well, supposedly he was making around 2.2 or so a year.
So he'd be at what? He's
Four
I mean,
and a half.
$4.5, $5 million.
Yeah, 4.5,
that
5
he's already
million.
collected.
Because I think the original deal wasn't it reported between 8 and 9 million?
I think it was a 3-year, $8 million.
It was $8 million. That was the number.
Yeah, 3-year deal. So we'll see what happens. 205-834-9450. That is the courtesy GMC text line. Love to hear from you. The other story that we've had some fun with today happened yesterday. As Spanish amateur golfer, if you did not see this is a crazy story. So the gentleman's name is Jose Luis Ballester, a Spanish amateur champion from Arizona State. He did something on hole number 13 that I believe has never been done before in the modern era of the Masters. Take a listen to what Jose Luis Ballester had to say after his round yesterday.
Well, I completely forgot that we had those restrooms on the left of the tee box.
Oh, okay. 13th tee.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct. And then I'm like, I really need to pee. Didn't really know where to go, and since JT had an issue around the green, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna sneak here in the river. Probably the people would not see me that much, and then they clap for me. Probably one of the clubs that I really got today, like real loud. So that was kind of funny.
Are you concerned that there might be any blowback from that at all? Or I mean, obviously, they did see you, right?
Yeah, they saw me. They saw me. I mean, it was not embarrassing at all for me. So if I had to do it again, I would do it again.
He doubled down. I'd like to excuse him because of culture. You know, it's just different cultures over there.
He goes to school in Tempe.
Yeah, topless beaches. Not in Tempe. Well, probably in Tempe. But he's a European, Pat.
Okay.
Do you think he got any kind of memo, or did Ridley, did he pull him aside, say, hey, man, look, don't do that again?
I don't think there's any question whatsoever that somebody had a conversation with him. Like you don't do that here.
He needs they need to have like a collapsible curl that fits in your golf bag. That you know, it's like a tailgate chair. That kind of technology. It's lightweight that you can pop up.
Yeah.
Sounds like you and your LLC need to cook up some prototypes, Landrum. You
Well,
and Gringo
remember the
go in
one
the
I
garage
had?
this weekend, do some tinkering.
Yep. I had the tailgate. I forgot what we were going to call it, but it was you're out there and you're tailgating and there's nowhere to go, or you run into what JLB did, and you pop up that curl like they have in Amsterdam. I had no idea they have those in Amsterdam.
What a peak curls.
So where does the pee go? Is there
in the river?
Is it?
Well, no, there's like a urinal thing in the.
Okay, and
in
it
the
just goes
curl.
underground, or a pipe feeds it somewhere.
Yeah, but that's why I said what I did, because you can see like it's not covered all the way to the bottom, so you can see your ankles, so you could see like the.
They'd see you peeing on your feet.
Yeah, exactly. They
That's
would see
where all this is going.
the residue coming out, and especially depending on, if you have some brown dress shoes on, you're going to walk out of there with those spots on it, and everyone's, no hiding that.
I could see Conrad explaining that to a bunch of people, a bunch of Danish people there in Amsterdam. Well, it's okay. I'm not wearing socks.
So he tees off at 12:23. He shot 4 over 76 yesterday. There he is. See?
Yeah.
Does he have the same hat on?
He's got that mischievous grin on his face, like, I just peed. I totally just peed in the creek.
Yes. He's tied for 64th currently.
Text coming in, 205-834-9450 on the Jocks text line. Brandon says, look, peeing in Race Creek isn't a big deal. It's a natural waterway. Animals do their business there all the time, so what's the harm? As long as it's handled quietly, it's not hurting anyone or the tradition, relax. It's just part of being human. I agree, Brandon. But if you knew that people were watching you or could see you, I wouldn't have done that.
That takes some confidence. I'll just say that.
Yeah. Or just not thinking that, and then to double down and laugh about it and say you do it again. I don't know. This one reads, as much as I love college football, as much as I love winning as an Alabama fan, we need to take a long relook at our priorities. Winning is no longer the most important thing, but saving college football is. That means keeping these kids and their wants in check and letting some go if you have to. Agree? But what if you don't have another quarterback and you're Josh Heupel?
I was about to say, and that's the thing. If you're Josh Heupel,
easy for us to say.
Is it easy for you to tank a season of your career to prove a point?
Right. Lyle says, as an Auburn fan, we don't have to worry about that because we don't recruit talented quarterbacks. Now,
Wow.
I disagree. That's funny, though. Going back to your guy, Hatton, with his clothing today at Augusta National with the pants that are way too tight.
Yeah.
Mike in Trussville says his pants are so tight you can see his religion. Good night. All right. Woohoo. Answering a scenario that I threw out. This listener says, I've gone behind the station. I've even gone in the women's room. I've done the women's room before and walked out with women waiting, and I let them know real quick. I put up the seat and I put down the seat.
Is it more awkward if you say that to them than just
No, because I know they're thinking it.
walking past?
Do you think it's awkward for me? No. I'm just going to – they're all –
Hey, when we go to a break, let him tell you the story of him going to Florida and what he had to do at a yeah.
I will.
Yeah.
I have to know this story.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Joe says a Gatorade bottle on a road trip is a must. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, until you hit a pothole.
And maybe some of you can use a milk jug, but yeah, Gatorade bottle probably more. Mike in Huntsville, I peed in many drink bottles and coffee cups. Thank you, Mike.
Ooh, a coffee cup.
Jimmy is proposing a waffle stomp on the green, Conrad.
Oh, we can't do that. Not at Augusta. Save that for the Waste Management Open.
Man, it's like one Conrad text, and then it just catches like wildfire. This one says, the only thing Conrad hasn't pulled over to the side of the interstate for and done is to change a tire. Sorry, Conrad.
Yep, saw that one coming.
Conrad, would you just put out a video to show that you can change a tire so we can move on from that?
No, because I don't know how to change a tire, so I couldn't do the video.
There you go.
We get somebody from a pit
Just to be
crew
honest.
out at Barber's. Do that one day. A couple years ago, my fiance and I were on the interstate. She was not feeling good at all. We came up on some traffic. We're sitting still for like 5 minutes. She couldn't wait any longer and had to go right off the side of her car with cars all around. It was like 11:15 a.m. She was mortified. Absolutely hilarious.
The end of that was great.
That is such a man response. She was mortified. I thought it was great. Tim said he had to go so bad once, and someone was in the bathroom at the convenience store, so I snuck into the back room, peed in a mop bucket. Not proud of it, but it had to be done. I think Justin Bieber, didn't he do that? Yeah. At one, he got some blowback one time for peeing in the mop bucket. One of the places he was.
Sure.
That's all I can tell you about him. That, and he had a pet monkey.
That's all. Those are the two things you know about Justin Bieber.
No, number 3, he is Canadian. The worst time it ever happened to me, I was doing a mountain bike event out in Colorado. I had to get off the bike running into the woods. Luckily, I found a log to squat over. And by the way, I ended up having to finish the event without any socks. I'm laughing with you.
Yeah, Lantrum can attest
Laughing
to that.
with you. Where's that cart girl? Where's the cold towels?
Oh, my goodness. We'll continue to read your text messages. Phone calls are welcome at 1-800-239-WJOX. We're here at Twin Peaks until 2 o'clock. Let me tell you about my good friends over at Abide Roofing. Travis Lloyd and his team are absolute pros in the business, and they're offering something absolutely fantastic right now. A free roof inspection. No strings attached, no pressure. They just want to give you an honest look at what's going on up there on your roof, especially after all these storms and hail, heavy wind. They can take care of you by coming in and assess your situation and tell you what's going on. And trust me, folks, I'm speaking from experience. I did that free inspection, and then I realized that I had some bigger problems. Travis Lloyd and his team at Abide Roofing, they helped me out. They can help you today. Call them at 205-922-7134 or go to their website, abideroof.com.
Some Tennessee fans that are chiming in that maybe have some more information on things that they're hearing on that front concerning Nico Iamaleava and his future. We'll get into it next as we continue live from Twin Peaks in Hoover on this beautiful Friday, Jocks 94.5.
It is 12:20. Welcome back. This is Jocks 94.5, listening great radio stations up in Huntsville, How about down in the capital city, Jocks 740 here on Jocks 94.5. You can hear the Braves tonight. Braves will try to get a little winning streak going, a little modest winning streak, as they won last night in extra innings against the Philadelphia Phillies. They took 2 of 3 against the first-place Phils, and so now they're heading to Tampa to take on the Rays.
Well, if you aren't able to get by Twin Peaks and Hoover to say hey to Pat and Landrum, maybe you can stop by Big Whiskey's, because they're going to have plenty of screens for you to catch all the Masters action there as well. You're going to be able to go and catch all of the Major League Baseball action throughout the season as well. They have several big screens there. They have their unique cocktail menu, as well as over 120 different whiskeys on tap right there at Big Whiskey's. You can enjoy the outdoor patio and game area as it starts to warm up. It's great for families, and a reminder that on Tuesdays, take the whole family there. Kids are going to eat for free on Tuesdays at Big Whiskey's, so go give them a visit. They're located in Stadium Trace Village off of Highway 150 near the Hoover Met.
Okay, so Justin Rose, he started out, he birdied number 2, but then he bogeyed 5. He came back and birdied 8. Then he birdied 12. He got to 9 under, and then he bogeyed on number 14. So he is currently at -8. Bryson DeChambeau, who Conrad has in his team, right now he's at -7, so he's 1 shot back. McCarty is at -6. M is -6. Connors at -5. Oberg, who I have on my team, he's -4. Lowry, no one had Shane Lowry, did they? No one had him. He's -4. Scheffler has yet to tee off. So that's the way we're looking right now. And McIlroy, matter of fact, he is now -3 as he just birdied number 11.
I don't know if you gave it. Brooks Koepka, he's a part of my team.
I have not given that yet.
He is even today, so +2, and +2 seems to be the cut line that they're projecting right now. Jordan Spieth tees off at 12:34 along with Justin Thomas. Both of them 1 over yesterday. And Patrick Cantlay, another one of my golfers, through 13 holes, he is 1 under today. That puts him at 1 over for the tournament. And as you mentioned, Scotty Scheffler. But no, some strong scores. And can Justin Rose do it? Because he has, I think he set the record for the most first-round Masters where he had a lead.
Correct.
Can he string it together? And just based on, I've never met Justin Rose. I told you that I've got a friend and actually a neighbor that got to hang out with him when he came to our state and was, I think he's buddies with Jason Duffner and some others, but got to hang out with him and said he was just a delight. Could not have been more down to earth and a good dude. So if he's going to win it, then I got no problem with that. I'm sorry I didn't take him yesterday.
I do have some big news, though. The other story in golf that we've been following very closely today, Nick Dunlap through 2 holes, even par.
Yep.
See, we all predicted that he was going to have
I predicted
he was going to have a good afternoon.
You said 77, right, Landrum?
I said 77.
I said 85.
85 for you. Well,
he's on pace to hit a 72.
Yesterday. He shot a 90 yesterday.
Look, the next time I play golf, if I can improve 5 strokes, I'll be happy.
You better believe it.
So if you said the cut line looks like it's going to be at +2, the good news for Dunlap is all he has to do is birdie every hole the rest of today, and he'll make the cut.
No, he's good. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
So it's become kind of a viral clip on this show. I have more people ask me about the famous Gaelic rugby clip. No, it wasn't rugby. What was it? Was it rugby?
It's rugby.
Yeah, it was rugby.
Yeah.
It was rugby.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't believe you forgot. It doesn't matter what the sport is.
Well, I got
you can apply it.
Well, the reason I got confused is because remember the Georgia Tech radio. The radio guys could not make it over to Dublin in time,
and he did the game.
And so the guy went over and he volunteered his services. So this is the way it sounded at the end of the Georgia Tech Florida State game from Dublin.
It's all eyes on the referee. We could be seconds away from the greatest victory in Croke Park in 23 years for Galway. All eyes on Sean Herson. Galway 17 points. Dublin 16. Scan has his head in his hands. The referee looks at his watch. He blows the whistle. Galway have won. It's the greatest day that Galway football has seen in over 2 decades. And every man, woman and child stands to applaud Pádraig Joyce and his gallant Galway men. Sweet Mother of Jesus, they have pulled off the unthinkable. Forget about Taylor Swift shake it off in the Aviva and come over here to Croke Park because you're witnessing the West Awake. Galyev Abu!
One of the greatest calls in college football
Gus
history.
Johnson.
Right there. That is beautiful. Well, you know what? I was able the other night, as I was, I have this little, this I guess a short range, like radio system in my basement where I kind of pick up broadcasts from other countries, a lot of Latin American stuff.
Yeah. Is that when you block out cell service? You put the blocker up?
Yeah.
When you have secret things going on?
So I was able to capture this audio. This is the way the national championship the other night in San Antonio, this is the way it sounded on Radio Free Cuba.
Por jugar el campeonato en juego, lo va a esperar Richard. Cruza la media cancha, 14 segundos por jugar. El campeonato en juego para los Cougars. La tiene Yusan por la derecha, recogió el drible y ahora le quedan 7 segundos. 5, ahora Crash. ¡Ay, ay, ay! Caminó, no puede tocar la pelota y la va a recuperar, la va a robar Condor. ¡Y todo ha terminado! Houston, you have a problem. Los Tigers, campeones universitarios.
That's the way the national championship game sounded on Radio Free Cuba on Monday night as Houston loses to the Florida Gators.
Houston, you have a problem. That's great.
So which do you prefer, the Gaelic call of the Florida State-Georgia Tech game?
I like Gaelic call because I could understand more of what he said, and the Taylor Swift not missing a beat.
Yeah.
He didn't miss a beat in any of that.
No,
it was just
great.
like bam, 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 bam.
It was fantastic. It was great. So I just try to bring the international flavor to the show. Try to bring as much as I can.
No, and we love it. We love it. I wish we had a call last night of that guy doing Ozuna's walk-off for the Braves.
He was asleep. He was late.
You know, that was Ozuna's first walk-off home run he's had since 2017.
Really?
Yep. I guess he was wearing a Cardinals uniform at that time.
No, he's still a Marlin.
Oh, it was Marlin then.
Yeah, still a Marlin. Yep. Yeah, we didn't get a lot of those from him. See? There's the pants. Justin, what do you think about that?
Did he split his pants? How is he not splitting his pants wearing those?
I don't know. I will say this. FSU Dave is here. Oh, it's always great to see FSU Dave.
Yep.
I didn't realize that Twin Peaks had a 36-ounce beer, but apparently FSU Dave found it.
There's a fish swimming in it.
Yeah. But he came over and he brought up a really good point. And 5 years ago you would have said, this is crazy. But he said, you're now going to have a quarterback. Think about this. 4th and goal, game on the line. Quarterback goes over there, tells the head coach, I'm not going in until you renegotiate my deal. Game's on the line.
Yeah.
Quarterback walks off the field and he goes, you know what? My NIL deal needs to be renegotiated right now or I'm out. Would that shock you based on everything we've heard now?
I'd be a ballsy move. But no. We've heard about guys before big games and they waited to do it. And then you get to big game week, maybe it's that 3rd or 4th game of the college football season, and you got that big matchup, and guy goes to coaching staff early in the week, says it's time to re-up my deal. Well, okay, we'll talk about it. No, we have to talk about it now. Drawing a line in the sand saying I'm not going to play, and guess what? Program caved. They got him his money.
Yep.
That's the culture. And that's not every student athlete, but that stuff's going on. This Nico stuff is actually getting reported, but this is not the first case of this.
Yeah. We're live at Twin Peaks. Come on by and see us. We will be here until 2 o'clock right here on Jocks 94.5. Come by and see us. We're here in the Home Lodge portion of Twin Peaks. This is Jocks 94.5. We're back live at Twin Peaks. Come out and see us. We'll be here until 2 o'clock in Hoover.
You crushed that burger.
Man, it was great.
It looked
fantastic. Love the seasoning they put on the fries here. Great to see our Jocks listeners. A lot of our folks that we see on Tuesday at Social Taco coming out and seeing us here at Twin Peaks. I was talking to the manager here at Twin Peaks and just talking about how an incredible March Madness they had here at the restaurant. And it's just a cool place to come and be able to experience some great food. Of course, that 29-degree frosty beer, not to mention the fact every TV that you can see as far as you can see. Just wonderful place to be here at Twin Peaks.
It's a wonderful place to be at Mandu in downtown Homewood. Mandu is electrical muscle stimulation fitness, and it's a revolutionary approach that some really smart people put together. And they said, you know what, how can we get the same results or better results in a quicker amount of time for our busy professionals? Well, you can do it. And look, even if I wasn't busy, I don't want to spend 6 hours in a gym. Well, at Mandu, electrical muscle stimulation fitness, they hook you up to a machine, put you into what looks kind of like a wetsuit. They got cables that run from that machine, and it sends electric pulses to various muscle groups. You go through a 15-minute workout, and it's the equivalent to 6 to 8 hours in a gym. I promise you're going to get results. The great news is Mandu, they're going to let you try it. You go into Mandu, talk to Paul and his great staff. Your first visit is free. They'll put you in the suit. You'll go into the changing room. You'll go out. You'll go through the 15-minute workout. I promise you will get results. Mandu in downtown Homewood, MANDUU.com. Make sure you tell Paul and everyone there at Mandu that Landrum from 3-Man Front sent you.
So earlier this morning, Kent State University, they announced that they have terminated the employment of head football coach Kenny Burns. They named their offensive coordinator as the interim head coach, and they will look for a national coach at the end of the 2025 season. Now, Kent State went 0-12 last year. Coach Burns went 1-23 at Kent State. He was 0-16 in the MAC. Burns was placed on administrative leave on March the 27th of 2025 following a lengthy university investigation. The school has not publicly stated the reason for the investigation, but it's speculated it was related to multiple factors. Here's the fun part. They extended this dude's contract after the 2024 season, despite the team going 1-11. So what does he do after he signs a contract extension? He goes 0-12. They paid him $525,000 to not win one single game. I'll volunteer for that. I can go 0-12 if you want to pay me $500,000. Unbelievable. 0-16 in the MAC in 2 years. 1-23 overall record at Kent State.
Randall Richmond is the director of athletics at Kent State. I want to know if
he should be fired.
Randall just didn't want to go through the process.
He should be fired.
Of looking for a new coach.
Somebody's got some pictures somewhere.
Or if Burns is just the ultimate sales guy. I know.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, he played running back in Indiana.
We were 1-23 the past 2 seasons.
Early 2000s.
But hear me out. I feel like the kids are just now starting to get it. I don't know how that happens.
Contract extension.
That's wild.
He went 1-11.
Hey, maybe GPAs are up program wide. Maybe that's what it is. He was brought in to reform them academically.
Let me tell you something. The conference that I love every Tuesday and Wednesday night.
Let me tell you something.
You know, first off, we lose Northern Illinois. They're leaving. They're
Yeah.
jumping ship. And now Kent State is in turmoil. I mean, you're going to have to get Nick Saban to come and clean things up at Kent State.
And one of the powerhouses the last 2 years was Bowling Green. Scott Loeffler leaves for a job in, the NFL?
Yeah. He's not even been a head coach. The MAC's in turmoil. I'll be honest with you.
Your media deal is probably in jeopardy. You're going to have to listen to it on your old whatever radio.
My shortwave in my basement?
Yeah. The dungeon. Where all the restraints are.
No, that's Conrad's house. He's got trapeze at his house.
Masters round 2 going on right now. Projected cut is at 2 over par. Justin Rose, he continues his great play. 7 under he carded yesterday, and now through 16, he is 2 under today. That puts him at 9 under par, leading all other golfers in the field. Bryson DeChambeau is 4 under today. That puts him at 7 under for the tournament, and he is playing hole number 12, so some time for Bryson DeChambeau to add to an already impressive card. Emma's at 6 under par. McCarty and Connors both at 5 under. You have Hogard, Oberg, Lowry, and Scheffler, who has just teed off, all at 4 under par. Victor Hovland, Rory McIlroy, you got Riley, English, Patrick Reed, Hatton, another one of Pat's golfers at 3 under par. Schauffele, Matsuyama, Fleetwood, Burns, Kim, all at 2 under par. And then as you scroll down, some other ones, Colin Morikawa is even for the day, even for the tournament. Patrick Cantlay, 1 under today. Looks like he could make the cut as long as he doesn't fall apart. He's on 15, but he's 1 over for the tournament. Jordan Spieth is going to be teeing off here in just a matter of moments. He was 1 over yesterday as well. And just keeping up to date with the local golfer Nick Dunlap through 3 holes, 1 under par today for Nick.
Buddy. Turning the corner.
He's back.
My 77's looking pretty good right now. What if he goes under today? 18 over day 1, and then he cards a 68. That'd be incredible. And he's fully capable of doing it. We'll keep you updated there on the goings-on there, and hopefully we don't have any other amateurs that decide to mark their territory off in the woods or in Rays Creek today.
All right, he's teed off, right? Yeah, he teed off about 17 minutes ago. If I was there, I would be following him nonstop just to see if he does anything.
Anybody else, I would think that they were just saying that, but you would.
I would.
Would you say something to him?
Hey, here's a question I have for you because you've been on the grounds there. I have not. I've stated many times I would love to go there. My father went year and year after year for the practice rounds. I never had an opportunity to go over there with him. So you can't bring cell phones in, right? So why am I seeing stuff on social media of people posting stuff from their phone inside? Like what happens?
I forget the rules of what they allow or when you can go and do that. The last time I was over there, social media was not what it is now.
Right.
Your phone technology was not what it was. And this was still in the end of the 2000s up to, I think the last time I was over there was 2011. But I don't know, Pat. It's a good question. I know one thing. There's no way to smuggle one in there. The last time I went, you had Homeland Security in full SWAT that was there on the outside gates before you went into another checkpoint and then another checkpoint.
So
I'm guessing it's still the same way.
They do the security, but do they have some type of form of technology to see if you've got your phone on you?
I'm going to look this up.
Because I am seeing things on social media, and this was from the last couple of days. This was not like the women's amateur was this weekend. I assume they can't have phones during the women's amateur at Augusta over the weekend. I could be wrong. I don't know. So that's why I'm just curious. And they're doing stuff like it's not like they're being secretive. I mean, it's just like you're out in public and they're filming stuff on their phone.
All right, so I just grabbed this from off the web, and this is what it reads. And if somebody has been there in recent years or even this year, if you could give us a call or give us a text and correct me if this is not correct. But it says phones are not allowed on the grounds at Augusta National Golf Course for the Masters. In fact, all electronic devices, including phones, laptops, tablets, beepers, the old beeper. I guess we got doctors that are going to that thing. Drones and other mobile devices are not allowed at the Masters for those that attended. So that was the case. Thank you. Lexi's doing a great job. That was the case when I went, and there was no way. They went through all of your stuff. So I don't know how they're getting there.
Yeah, I don't know either. Unless these are some type of social media influencers, but I don't know. Just was curious. That's why I asked you.
Cameras are allowed during the practice rounds, and they're strictly prohibited on tournament days. You violate this, results in removal from the grounds. So maybe these people are just going rogue, and they were able to get their phones in there. But I wouldn't get caught. I hope it was worth the post.
I look forward to hearing our friend Hastings is over there, a regular on this program. Great listener.
If I'm not mistaken, I think they have the same facial recognition technology there that they have in Vegas at some of the casinos. Whereas if you're removed and they say you're banned, then you go and you throw a third party, you get a badge for a day to go to a later tournament down the road. I think they've got that technology. Would you put it past the people at Augusta National?
Oh, gosh, no. Not at all. No.
There are still banks of free phones that I was telling you guys located throughout the golf course for patrons to use. You can call anywhere in the world, talk as long as you want. So they're giving you, if you have an emergency or something like that. They've got those phones.
FSU Dave just sent this to me. That according to the Augusta Chronicle, part of the USA Today network, if a patron is caught with a cell phone or another form of electronic device at the Masters, that patron will be removed from the grounds and have their tickets revoked for that tournament and future tournaments.
Yeah.
They're not playing around.
No.
I'll try to find one during a commercial break and show you what I'm talking about, because it's fascinating, to say the very least. We're live at Twin Peaks in Hoover. Come on by and see us. A great crowd. We appreciate those stopping by and saying hello and grabbing a bite to eat. We always appreciate the great Jocks listeners. This is three-man front. Pat, Conrad, Landrum. Molly will be back with us on Monday. This is Jocks 94.5. We're back live at Twin Peaks here in Hoover. Come on by and see us. We'll be here until 2 o'clock. Masters on wall to wall. Very interesting leaderboard as I think Rose is now, -8. DeChambeau -7. McElroy -5. Oberg comes in at -4. Who are those people?
I don't know.
I guarantee he plays football.
Who is the guy on the far left? Sorry, we're watching the live broadcast. Marty Smith is talking with some patrons there at Augusta National, but the guy on the left, he looks very familiar.
Yeah. I don't know who that is. Joining us here on set, FSU Dave, great regular of the Social Taco group on Tuesday.
How?
Came by. He's a big Florida State Seminole fan. Obviously, his name, FSU Dave. But in his previous life, he was a tennis official. Is that right?
Yeah, I was a chair umpire.
Chair umpire.
No, yeah.
I mean, that's the big one.
He was like the Doug Harvey, if you remember Doug Harvey from Major League Baseball umpires. He was like the Doug Harvey.
He was the Harry Wendelstadt of tennis.
Yeah.
Right?
He would host the camps for the officials, right?
Yeah, Nestor Shylock used to live in my neighborhood.
Really?
In Pompano.
Who?
Nestor Shylock, Major League Baseball umpire in the 70s. And
oh, yeah, that was before my time.
Lived in South Florida.
Yeah.
All right, so the reason I asked you to jump on the mic for a second, we were talking about the situation with the Spanish amateur golfer who waded off into Rays Creek and relieved himself. Now, I've always been curious, in regards to, like, a tennis match, do you guys what are the rules in regards to if someone has an issue and they must depart the court, what's the rules?
Okay, so it actually evolved a lot over time due to abuse from people taking a break when maybe they didn't need it.
Kind of stop momentum of the other tennis player or whatever the case.
Landrum's serving for the match, and all of a sudden I have to go to the bathroom.
Right.
So then it evolved to where you can only go when you're about to serve, because then you hold yourself up as far as serving. You get 1 bathroom break per match, 2 and a best of 5 men's match. And we always would send the service linesman, if he was of the same sex, to the bathroom with the player.
You have to monitor?
Monitor, really, that there isn't coaching going on.
Okay.
Back when there was no coaching. So their coach would go run to the bathroom and hide in a stall.
Gotcha.
And then they would come in and do it.
That is so fascinating.
Yeah,
they would do that?
They would do that back in the day.
What would you do if you caught them?
Yeah, what's the penalty?
They would get a penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct, and whatever step they were in what's called the code of conduct. Back then it used to be 4 stages in the beginning. You got a warning, then you lost a point, then you lost a game, then you were defaulted.
Now who's the official that would go back to the bathroom with them?
The guy on serve or another linesman.
Okay.
That was with them, because obviously you wouldn't,
You couldn't get out on the chair.
One time at the U.S. Open, tell us all myself, best of 5 match, hot New York day.
Yeah.
I'm sitting up there, pounding the water and the drinks and stuff, and it's as hot as can be. And I realize when we're in the 4th set, I've got no shot if we go 5.
Yeah.
I have and then once it's in your head.
Yeah, once it's in your head,
you are done.
Yep.
So, of course it goes 5, and one of the players I knew quite well, and I leaned down and I said to him, Chico, you need to go to the bathroom. He goes, no, I'm fine. I go, no, Chico, you need to go to the bathroom. And he looks up laughing and says, Davey, need to go pee-pee? and he starts to go, and the guy on serve starts to go. I go, no, I got him. You stay here with this guy. So, but I had a player one time at what's called a challenger level. That's sort of like AAA, AA baseball as far as prize money.
Yeah.
We're on an outside court. He's already had his break. He had to go. And he says, what happens if I do? I said, well, the clock's going to run when the changeover starts. And if you're not back ready to play in 90 seconds, you're going to get a time violation. And then if it goes further, which would just be a warning, if it goes further, then we go into the code. He went bolting. He jumped this little low fence as soon as the game ended for the changeover, went running about 30 yards away behind a tree, made it back in time. So
I've never asked you this. I have some random questions. This has nothing to do with the bathroom break, but the ball guys and gals that are there that they go and retrieve the loose tennis balls. and I just remember this from Wimbledon, but do they have to throw it that certain way?
Yeah, they bounce it on one bounce to them.
Okay.
Like at the U.S. Open, they used to get paid, and they were older, and they threw the ball from end to end. They were all really good, like baseball players.
Yeah.
And everywhere else, they roll it down. But the U.S. Open was different back in the day. Now they do roll it. But yes.
Because I was just thinking, why do they always pick the most unathletic, uncoordinated kids to do this? But that makes sense, the one bounce.
Well, and they have tryouts everywhere for that sort of thing, too. You know,
so these are like timed?
Well, no, you try out to see, can you actually run without tripping? Can you catch the ball when it's rolled to you? You know, do you know how to stand properly? All that stuff for the ball kids.
We went through the bucket list of things, whether you had the Masters, the Kentucky Derby.
Wimbledon.
Wimbledon was on there. Not that I guess it's to each their own, but the Open in New York, would you recommend that, even if you're not the biggest tennis fan?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually what I would recommend is you go for the qualifying week, the week before the tournament starts.
Okay.
Because, A, it's free. And
is it really?
Totally free.
Wow.
And you can wander around everywhere. And, look, somebody ranked 150 in the world that's trying to get in is one heck of a tennis player. And you can see up close all the big boys and women practicing. So you can get up very, very close to them. And it's just a great way to do it.
Now, didn't you tell me, have you been an official at the Australian, correct?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
How about the French?
Like 6 times, yes.
And French.
Mm-hmm.
Wimbledon?
Mm-hmm. All of them, plus Olympics, plus Davis Cup.
Was Wimbledon kind of like we view the Masters in Augusta National, where you got to be on your P's and Q's?
Yeah, I mean, Wimbledon is very much that way overall. Like, that is Augusta National, or for baseball lovers like myself, Yankee Stadium.
No, stop it.
You know, that is, I had to toss that in there. That is the epitome of it.
It's the pinnacle of the sport, Dave. It is what it is.
Absolutely. The U.S. Open is the loudest, the noisiest, the hardest to work, the longest hours and everything. Australia is the most fun because people are there to party. They're like soccer fans. They paint their face, they start drinking at 8 a.m., and they're singing songs during matches.
Where is that?
Australia. It's in
Australia.
Melbourne.
Okay.
And then the French is the prettiest sight. It's in a park. You know, you take the train, the metro in there to get there, and it's just absolutely stunningly beautiful.
Is there like a tennis player village at some of these tournaments?
No.
Okay.
No.
I'm guessing they let their hair down and get a little wild.
Yeah, like the Olympics did, which they did. But there are tournament hotels for the players. Now, a lot of the really big ones rent houses and things like that. But there are tournament hotels where they get to stay for free and all that sort of stuff.
Did you ever share a match with Martina?
Yes, I did.
Really?
Many times.
That's very cool.
She claimed in her book that she used to walk through the women's locker room completely naked to intimidate.
And she would, because back then she was on steroids, which she admitted. But real fast, she asked me one time, how far was a ball out? And I said about 2 inches. And she goes, male or female? And I answered quickly, female. So she goes, so it was honest then, huh? And we laughed about that forever.
Oh, my goodness. That is FSU Dave. Come by and see him. He'll be here until 2 right here on Jocks 94.5. It is 1 o'clock. Welcome back in. This is Three-Man Frontal, Jocks 94.5. We're live here at Twin Peaks in Hoover. We'll be here until 2 o'clock. Masters wall-to-wall. Come on by and enjoy some great food, some nice cold beer, and watch the Masters all weekend long right here on Jocks 94.5. We're here at Twin Peaks. Pat Smith, Landrum Roberts, Conrad Van Order, Molly Robinson. She'll be back with us on Monday.
Well, last night you had both Wallace State baseball and softball splitting double headers against Snead. Each team now turns around and is going to play 2 more tomorrow against Snead. Baseball is traveling on the road to Snead, and softball will be hosting their doubleheader up there in Hanceville. For more information on Wallace State, Hanceville baseball, softball, or any other athletic programs, go visit them online at athletics.wallacestate.edu.
All right, so see what happens when your team makes it to the college football playoff and all of a sudden they decide, you know what, we can make a little bit more money. Notre Dame today announces alcohol sales will expand to general admission tickets for football, basketball, and hockey beginning this fall. Alcohol had been previously only been available at premium seating locations, so now the general population at Notre Dame sporting events can enjoy a nice frosty beer.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I'm surprised that it took this long at that particular school, institution.
I figured it was already sold.
Were they just selling wine to the general public and now it's beer too?
No, the general public did not have access to it.
Ah.
You had to be in premium seated areas.
Oh, what does that cost in South Bend?
I don't know. You know, I meant to ask FSU Dave, but he was too busy telling us the Martina Navratilova stories. What if Tommy Castellanos goes up to Gus Malzahn, his position coach, and says, I want to renegotiate my NIL deal? What would Florida State do?
I think it's easy to kind of cut ties at this point. You haven't seen him on the field.
Nah, Gus is probably invested in him. Gus is telling him, first of all, you need to go talk to your head coach, Coach Norvell. I don't want to deal with that. Just drawing up plays. Go talk to Christie. I don't know. I hope this doesn't become the trend where we start getting reports from all over college football that guys – and he's putting Heupel in a bad spot. He is putting his team in a bad spot. This comes off, to me, this comes off as extremely selfish. Why not just continue to practice, show up to practice, and figure all of this stuff out? And then if it comes to a head, maybe so. But
how do you go through this and not lose the locker room?
No.
Right, as the leader of that program and the face of the program, like, going back into that locker room would be incredibly awkward, and that's on him, though.
Well, with all the talk and all the buzz about him getting an $8 million NIL deal out of high school to go there, you still have not, in my opinion, proved your worth, and you're going to double down on it now?
Yeah, and here's the thing, and our friend Trey Wallace from Outkick, who joins us a great bit of the college football season, he just wrote this a couple minutes ago, and he said, you know, they've had this deal done. He was scheduled to make $2.4 million this year, okay? And they have decided they want to restructure the deal. This is no different than when we're following baseball or football or whatever, then all of a sudden one of these athletes decide, you know what, I'm not going to show up to training camp, or I'm going to be a holdout, or whatever the case may be. So now we're seeing our first real situation in the college football game where you basically are having a holdout. That's exactly what this individual is doing. And as Trey Wallace points out, that this is something that Nico is going to find out real quick. I know people are passionate about their Major League Baseball and their NFL teams, but there is nothing like the passion of a college football fan.
No.
And you better believe that there's probably going to be the majority of the people at the University of Tennessee and the people that root for Tennessee, they are saying, pound sand, see you. We don't need you. Hit the road. Because, Conrad, you said if Jalen Milroe would have presented that last year, he took Alabama to the semifinal game in the college football playoff. He was a Heisman Trophy finalist. And if he would have come to Alabama last year and basically said, I need to redo a deal, I need more NIL money, you, being the big Crimson Tide fan that you are, you would have said, hit the road. You wouldn't have any of it.
Well, and it goes back to the idea of no one person, whether it's a player, a coach, whoever, an executive at the professional level, no one person is bigger than the team, right? And when you put yourself in this kind of a situation, in my perspective, if you are Nico, or in the hypothetical we were talking about, if it was Milroe, you are putting your hand up and saying, I am more important than everybody else in this room, and until I get what I want, then I'm not helping us in our common goal. And if that's the reality of it, that is a cancer to have in a locker room. That is not something that you can have. And I understand that when guys have all the talent in the world, and if you're a Tennessee fan right now, you're probably real sweaty, getting a little clammy, thinking, well, what are we going to do at quarterback if we don't have Nico? And I understand that is a difficult situation. But I just think the more we get into this new era of college athletics, I don't know who it is, and it's easy for us to say it on the outside, but at some point we have to put our feet down and say, look, you are not bigger than the rest of the program. We took a chance on you. We showed our faith in you by giving you millions of dollars coming out of high school when you didn't earn a penny of that. So now maybe you can do us a favor after underperforming and shut your mouth and go bust your ass so that we can go win a playoff game.
And I agree with everything you just said, Conrad, but is he using his middleman, his marketing, his agent, to do all of the dirty work for him? Or they're the bad guys? I don't know.
Probably
I just signed a deal with these guys, and they're advising me that this is in my best interest. That could be the case. We've got Tennessee fans that are texting into the show, 205-834-9450. One, and just paraphrasing the text that they said, hey, rarely text, but I'm well connected, and there is absolutely no way that Tennessee caves and pays him $4 million.
So you hold firm.
And already the rumors there on this particular fan, where they're getting their information, is that USC would be the potential destination.
Okay,
that would make sense.
So here's the other deal. Okay, so let's say that he ends up getting the $4 million, and we all agree by following this religiously every single day that he is not worth $4 million. Well, if he gets the $4 million, then all of a sudden he has raised the market value of every other potential mediocre quarterback in the Southeastern Conference. And do you think that the rest of the league is going to appreciate that? That's bad news for every other major college football team. If you're willing to pay a quarterback that, yeah, he led you to a 10-3 record, he led you to the college football playoff for the first time in school history, but based on his numbers, based on the return of your investment, paying this guy $4 million is a bad business move if the University of Tennessee, and it sets the bar to the point where the Alabamas, the Auburns, the Texas, even Texas and the Texas A&Ms, they will frown upon this deal big time.
Oh, yeah. Every coach right now is cringing, hoping that this deal doesn't go through because it's going to just drive up the market. Then, in turn, if you're USC, if you're Lincoln Riley, do you go and you meet it if he does meet Tennessee? And another text rolling in saying you don't think a quarterback would hop in the portal to play at UT. I think that they could get somebody good quickly. That might be the case. That's what I stated earlier. Is if you were paying him $2.5 million and there's a quarterback that's not quite happy with their situation, or maybe they've gone through spring or they're halfway through spring and they don't like the way that things are looking, yeah, I could think of a lot worse places to go and play college football for $2.5 million if that's the rate. But for $4 million.
And I think it's also fair that we could probably say anybody that is going to be of the pedigree that I guess would be above Nico, right, in terms of the guys that you would view as somebody that would come into the program and help you drastically improve, all of those guys are going to be taken, right? So you're going to be rolling the dice. It might be a talented kid that's available, but it's somebody you're rolling the dice on. It's not going to be a surefire starter at this point in the portal.
Well, and if you're an elite quarterback and that you're one of these other Power 4 programs, and remember the rule that the SEC has, if you're on an SEC roster in this particular portal, you can't go to Tennessee.
Right.
So it would have to come from outside of the SEC, and maybe that's better. But Jackson Arnold, we believe his deal at Auburn is probably what, $2 million.
Yep.
What do you think? Ty Simpson would be different. What do you think Russell's NIL is at Alabama?
I would think that Keelan's it's at least 7 figures.
Yeah, I would think like at least 1.5 probably.
Yeah. Nussmeier, we believe he's getting that. Lenora Sellers, I would love to see the final numbers on Lenora Sellers because
I bet that one's at least
people
3.
that I have talked to said that he got him a nice deal. Yeah. But I would say, unless it was just an exorbitant amount, he was worth it.
Don't you think Lagway probably got a nice little bump?
Yeah.
At Florida?
Yep.
Probably so. And I know it's a different sport, but hell, I mean, Texas Tech yesterday, they just brought back Toppin on their basketball team for $4 million.
Crazy.
So we blame Toppin.
It's wild.
Maybe that's what
we do. It's all his fault.
So $4 million for this final year?
Yep. Texas Tech, man, they got
the billionaire they got out there.
Oh yeah.
He's drunk with money. But I don't blame him. If I was a billionaire and I had expendable income, what's a few million if I'm going to get my team or they're...
Well, yeah, it's like a toy, right? You just look at the program as one of your toys, and you're like, all right, who do I, how much money do I have to give to get what I want?
What if Elon Musk was a huge college football fan of a particular team?
That'd be something.
Oh, that would be something.
I tell you guys, it would be.
It would be something.
I tell you guys every day about Courtesy GMC in Trussville, and not only is they're your go-to dealership when it comes to the best in GMC products, but they also give back to the community. They give back to so many charities, and one charity that they're heavily involved with is the Will Bright Foundation. And there's an event coming up at the club. It's going to be a luncheon. It's going to be held on May 13th, 2025. And the guest speaker is Coach Scott Cochran. And Scott Cochran, longtime strength and conditioning coach at the University of Alabama, went over, coached special teams at Georgia. His story has been well publicized. He is now the head coach at West Alabama. He is going to be the feature speaker, a luncheon to benefit the Will Bright Foundation on May 13th at 11:15 a.m. It's going to be at the club in Birmingham. If you want more information, go to the Will Bright Foundation's website. But Courtesy GMC is always actively involved in a lot of charities across central Alabama, and they're a part of this Will Bright Foundation luncheon that's going to be happening once again May 13th, 2025 at the club. Guest speaker is Coach Scott Cochran, so that will be a great event, and we will tell you more about that. And I want to remind everyone, go to courtesybirmingham.com. Get by there this weekend for the very best deals you're going to find on any GMC product. That is Courtesy GMC in Trussville.
Leaderboard update from Augusta National. We'll get to it next as we continue to broadcast live from Twin Peaks in Hoover on a festive Friday on Jocks 94.5.
It is an absolutely gorgeous day in Hoover. Stop on by and see us. We're at Twin Peaks in Hoover. Always appreciate the fine folks here having us out for big sporting events. The Masters going on Landrum right now. It's a beautiful day in Augusta, around 65 degrees. A little bit breezy right now. It's going to get a little bit warmer over there. It should be a nice weekend there for the Masters.
And one of the participants, the players, Nick Dunlap, he had a rough day yesterday, but I want to start with Nick. Today, -2. Through 5 holes. That's right. Now only 16 over par, so Nick, keep playing well.
Teach you how to overcome adversity down there at the capstone.
That's exactly right. Conrad, you're so cheesy. Justin Rose, he is done for the day. Only 1 under today after the opening round, 7 under, but he's atop the leaderboard. But nipping at his heels, Bryson DeChambeau through 13. Bryson DeChambeau, 4 under on his round, 7 under for the tournament. Then you have the likes of McCarty, Hogard, Hovland, McIlroy, Connors, Scheffler, all at 5 under par. Oberg, that's your guy, Pat.
Yep.
M. Lowry at 4 under. Matsuyama and Fleetwood, both Molly's golfers. Molly's going to win the green jacket. They're both at 3 under par, along with Burns, Kim, Reed, Day, Hatton. And then Xander Schauffele, 3 under today. He is at 2 under par, along with Riley Thompson and Rye. Aaron Rye, he got off to the quick start yesterday. Other notables, Justin Thomas, 2 under today. He's at 1 under par for the tournament. Brooks Koepka, 2 under today. He is at even, and it looks like I might have one of my golfers that misses the cut. And right now, Patrick Cantlay, projected cut line is 3 over par. He is 3 over playing number 18, along with Dustin Johnson, by the way, and Sepp Straka. Sorry.
What's Straka right now?
Sepp is actually making a move. He's trying to make the cut. He's
plus
3 under today, but
yeah,
he was 6 over yesterday.
All right, so I'm eyeballing my 5 guys on my team. I am currently -4 for the tournament.
For the tournament?
Yes.
I am -3.
Okay. Conrad is +17, right, with Dunlap?
I'll be honest, I haven't even been keeping up because I've already lost.
So Molly is
Molly?
McIlroy, which is 5 under. She's also got Matsuyama, who is 4 under. Fleetwood, who is 3 under.
Jeepers.
Yeah.
Told you I'd be handing her the jacket this year.
Who was the other foreign player that oh, no. Never mind. It's not a foreign player. She's also give me the other name.
She's got McIlroy, Morikawa.
It's going to sound horrible if I say the name I was about to say.
Matsuyama, Smith, and
Cam
Fleetwood.
Smith.
Yeah.
Where's Cam Smith? Can you find him? And then also Colin Morikawa. She's got a +1.
She doesn't have a lot of pluses
no.
on her team right now.
Where's Cam Smith?
I'll look
Where's
for
your cousin?
He's -1.
Good grief.
Yeah.
So Molly is -12.
Good night. Are you serious?
Yeah.
And you're -4, or I'm -4. You're -3.
I'm -3. Yeah.
And Conrad's +17.
Hey, Bryson's doing his part for my team. Unfortunately, it's not going to be enough.
I'll be honest with you. When you pick the guy from Alabama, we just kind of go, okay.
I was trying to be different, Pat.
And you always are, whether you try or not, buddy. We love you. That is your Masters leaderboard update.
And speaking of the Masters, Conrad, would you like to go over our Twitter poll question of the day that had to do with one Jose Luis Ballester?
Yes, that is correct, Pat. So our 3-man front poll question, 222 votes in right now. Should Jose Luis Ballester be disqualified from the Masters after taking a leak in Rays Creek? Yes, it's disgusting, or no, he just had to go. No, still winning with 58% of the vote, but the gap is, as Pat said earlier, it has shrunk from where it was earlier. So a lot of people not happy and thinking that he disrespected the tradition there at Augusta National.
A lot of people can relate to what he was going through.
Yeah, we've just, we've never had it happen to us at the Masters.
All right, I've not proofread this, so it may be entertaining. Austin texted in, and he says, I was in the middle of a job one day. I had to use a restroom, and I went and I used it in a blue water bottle. Ended up going back to complete the job. When I finished up, I went to make me a protein shake. So I grabbed my bottle of water with the protein and poured the water into the protein, took a swig of my protein shake, and thought something didn't taste right. Uh-oh. Ended up chugging a bottle of water. Unfortunately, I didn't realize I just drank the bottle I've used in the restroom. Yes, I drank my own urine. Not proud at all.
Well, at least it's sterile. It's good for you, right?
And we appreciate the honesty.
I don't know. It would be good for
That's
you.
what wasn't that the line in Kingpin?
Yeah.
When he asked Roy, even if it's your own,
you don't milk a bull, do you?
We have a bull. Oh, back to Nico and his situation. Tennessee is between a rock and a hard place, says this listener. If they stand their ground, Nico is gone, and Tennessee follows the college football playoff berth season with a 500 season, and the heat is turned up on Heupel. However, if they cave, then the whole roster sees that they can push Heupel around. He loses all control that he had. Really tough look for the program in Knoxville. Yes, I believe that Nico's camp have put Tennessee in a very awkward position.
So whether they give him more money or not, can you imagine if they get into the season and they kind of hit a slump or they don't play very well? Can you imagine?
Yeah, I can.
The outcry?
And they should be. They should be upset. This one reads, there's no way to come back from this if you're Nico.
I agree.
Well, and okay, I know we're looking ahead here, but do you not think this is something that is going to come up one day when he's trying to be drafted into the NFL? Do you not think this is something that he's going to have to answer to of, hey, I mean, if you're doing this at 19 years old, what are we going to expect if we draft you here in the NFL?
Yeah. Going back to how they're getting some of these texts coming from Augusta National because you can't take phones inside.
Right. And
this one reads, I never really thought about it. How soon we forget about Connor Stallions and the Google glasses or whatever he had.
The Meta glasses?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I would think that the security's on the up and up on that. But
you can use, if you have an Apple Watch, you can text off of those. I bet that's what some people do.
Larry throws this out. Landrum, Larry here. Great show today. Thank you. After visiting Mandu for the first time, are you extremely sore? Seems like doing 6 to 8 hours of exercise in 15 minutes would make you so sore that you couldn't move. There is, after the initial visit, there's some soreness, but it's not where you can't move. You'll be fine, and thanks for trying Mandu in downtown Homewood. If Tennessee gives in, the whole sport is doomed, says this one listener. Smokey from Jasper. If Nico does come back, I'd advise him not to take his helmet off on the sidelines. Golf balls and mustard bottles might be the least of his concerns. I'm a Vol fan, and Nico should be let go. That's the majority of the Tennessee fans we've gotten responses on.
So
Tell him to hit the bricks.
Here's another interesting angle to what all of this is very perplexing. So he doesn't come to practice, right?
Yeah.
This morning. But on 3, VolQuest is reporting that Nico was at position group dinner at the offensive coordinator's house last night before he was AWOL at practice today.
Yeah, everything's just don't let on that anything's going on.
Okay, but tomorrow for your spring game, if you're Josh Heupel, are you not giving all of the reps to your other 2 quarterbacks? Hey, let's see what we got because we might need you at this point.
Yes.
I mean, even if Nico comes back and says, hey, Coach, I'm sorry. I know this has caused a distraction. I want to play in the spring game tomorrow.
Well, no, if you iron out this deal today and he gets the re-up deal, Conrad, no, you're making his butt play every single
snap?
Every single rep. Yeah.
So the 2 guys, you have a redshirt freshman and a freshman who both arrived on campus in January. That was who would be left on the roster from a quarterback standpoint at Tennessee.
George and Jake.
Yep.
And their last name starts with an M.
Yep. Merklinger, he's the redshirt freshman, and McIntyre, he's a freshman.
Sky says we'll see a lot more of the Nico situation with other big-time players moving forward. Oh, he asked, will we? I hope not.
Well, and one of you mentioned it earlier. I mean, the reality is that
But his
this
was the
has already
first
happened
deal.
before.
But his was the first deal. It was the most publicized.
Yeah.
We just knew that guy. We couldn't even pronounce his name. Some people still can't. But that he was coming in and sight unseen, oh, my gosh, is this going to be the trend in college football where guys are getting $8 million to go and play for an SEC program out of high school? Now, luckily, the market has settled somewhat. But if he gets $4 million, and we didn't even have him as a top 5 guy coming back in the SEC. If you're ranking quarterbacks.
And remember, if this House settlement goes through, one of the ideas of the settlement is that they're going to have a clearinghouse for NIL. And basically this clearinghouse, they're going to take a look at someone's NIL, and they're going to say, okay, it is worth the amount of money that is being given to this certain person. And if it's not, then they have to give that player that certain amount of money. So if someone says, okay, Nico, you're getting an NIL deal of $4 million and you're not worth the $4 million, then all of a sudden, what does Nico and his family do at that point in time? Then do they sue them, just like Tennessee sued the NCAA to get Nico eligible because they're about to be hit with an NCAA violation for them negotiating an NIL deal of $8 million while he was in high school? So that's another issue about this House settlement, because that's why Livy Dunn and everybody else was going in front of the judge on Monday. They're like going, this arbitrary group run by Deloitte that is going to look at everybody's NIL, they did not believe that was going to be a fair market value of what the NIL would be.
I mean, it'll be like essentially what they do with the franchise tag in the NFL, where it's just an average of what some of the top players at that position do, and maybe it won't be at the top, but
Does these type situations, does it matter when revenue and that final decision is made? Will it matter? Or do you think this keeps happening until we have consider them employees?
This will until there's a collective bargaining agreement, this will continue to happen.
Jimmy says he could tank his career like DJU. What did he get at Clemson?
Too much.
He had the Dr. Pepper deal. He actually endorsed Dr. Pepper. He was one of the 3 athletes that we know that got an NIL deal.
I would like to know
something.
He went to Oregon State and then he ended up at Florida State. I'd like to know what Florida State gave him.
Oh, they paid. It was 7 figures.
It was stupid money. Because he did go to Oregon State and have a decent season.
What did he get at Oregon State?
Best year of his career there.
If old Whistlehead his dad was asking for the private chef and the 5-bedroom house for the family to live in. JT
Daniels?
Yeah. Whistlehead just sounded better.
I thought you were going to call him Turtleneck.
I was about to say, I just called him Turtleneck. Yeah.
Turtleneck JT.
Let's see.
I still think those were Dickies. I don't think they were real turtlenecks.
Jerry from Hayden says, let them hillbillies sink with Nico. RTR, the number 4 in life. All caps.
All right, we need to take a break. When we come back on 3-Man Front, we'll do some Pat Ponders. This is Jocks 94.5. It's been a great day here at Twin Peaks and Hoover. Always appreciate the folks having us out here. Come on by all weekend long. The Masters will be on every television. Not to mention you got the Birmingham Stallions tonight. You got Braves baseball against Tampa. So you can find all your sports action right here at Twin Peaks. You know, owning a home is great, but it can come with its share of headaches at times. Some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you have foundation issues or cracks start showing up and your sheetrock, your doors are tough to close, or your windows tough to get open, you can't ignore it because those issues are going to only get worse. That's why you need to call Alabama Professional Services at 205-951-9717. It'll be the best decision that you will make to protect your home. APS will send a team out. They really know their stuff. They can inspect anything and everything for you, and they can explain the problem and give you a plan moving forward. That number is 205-951-9717, or visit their website at alabamaprofessional.com. We do this every day, brought to you by Courtesy GMC. This is Pat Ponders. Brought to you by Courtesy GMC and Trustful. Visit their online inventory at courtesybirmingham.com. All right, question number one. This week, Major League Baseball Hall of Famer Ken Griffey Jr. is in Augusta. He's working inside the ropes as a photographer. Griffey says he took up photography just to see his kids more often back in the day. Griffey Jr., who's an avid golfer, says he's played at Masters events in the past, and he was excited to shoot this year's tournament. So my question had me thinking, what hobby, when you're retired from radio, would you like to take up? Griffey took up photography. What would you like to take up? Landrum, Conrad?
Oh, man. God.
Can a hobby be,
I don't know, whittling?
just anything that would occupy my time that I would enjoy?
I mean, you already played golf.
Yeah.
You play a little pickleball already.
Yep. Would traveling be considered a hobby?
Sure.
I would love to. I would love to, if I had the income or the money to do it at retirement age, get into a Winnebago, have an Airstream hooked up, something, and be all about it, and just travel around, hit Major League Baseball, college football season, do a road tour, just venues, different venue, doesn't matter the conference. That would be great. That is a dream of mine. I'd love to do that if I'm able to one day.
How about you, Conrad?
Yeah, I mean, after, assuming that we all have, a lot longer to go in our careers and stuff, by that time, I mean, I would probably say...
You're going to probably have till 2 o'clock.
Well, thank you.
We're going to stay in touch.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I'll put you down as a reference.
I don't know go that far. But.
Well, Landrum, not you, Pat. Don't worry.
His wife's really good at picking brackets.
Yeah.
Hired him.
She is my better half. I would probably go golf, just because golf is something that, I mean, in reality now, it's a fairly expensive hobby. So hopefully by that time it would be more affordable for me and more manageable. Plus being able to go and play like earlier in the day or in the middle afternoons when we're typically busy doing stuff would be nice. So I would say golf. But outside of that, let's say if I had to, if I do get fired at 2 o'clock, like you're alluding to, I would probably pick, I've always wanted to be a better reader, because I feel like it's very useful, obviously, to take in as much information as possible. It's just so boring. So maybe if I had more time on my hands, I would read.
Audiobooks, would that not help you?
Oh, that might help, yeah. But I need a good narration.
All right, question number 2. This year marks the 70th consecutive year CBS has broadcast the Masters, the longest-running sports event on any one network. Do you guys consider Jim Nantz the voice of golf?
Yes. Plain and simple.
I don't even know who another person would be in that conversation. You think of golf, you think of Jim Nantz. So. I mean, I would say Jim Nantz is more synonymous with golf, and maybe this is just me, than the majority of players that are playing in the tournament right now.
Yeah. Really good point. I think people think of Jim Nantz golf, and especially the Masters, before they think of Jim Nantz NCAA tournament, back when he used to do it, or Jim Nantz NFL.
I agree with that.
Or Jim Nantz Final Four.
Yeah, March Madness.
Yeah.
Does he do anything else?
Just NFL and Masters now, since he gave up basketball.
Well, he was heartbroken Monday, wasn't he?
Yes, very much so. Question number 3. Would preseason college football games be better than spring inter-squad games?
I don't see how for the coaches that are worried about.
That one's tough because I'm not. I mean, we've talked about this before. Like, I'm not a huge fan of NFL preseason games, and so I feel like it'd be somewhat hypocritical to constantly, crap on those and then be like, oh, that'd be great for college football, though. But I mean, given what the spring games seem to be headed for, maybe it would be better, because if this is what you're going to get, where it's just a glorified open practice, I mean, I'd much rather have a preseason type game than that.
I would just like to put something on the line for it. Where I don't even know how they would do that. But kind of like the All-Star game we used to get, where if the American League won or the
home field advantage.
Yeah, just
I
have some.
like that.
But I don't know how you would do it in college football.
Whoever loses gets 5 scholarships taken away.
Yeah, because if you view it as an exhibition, ultimately, and you've got guys that already have roster spots, so it's not like you would get in the NFL. And maybe we get to that in college athletics one day. But you as a fan care, but the two teams, if there's nothing on the line, it's just an exhibition, do they really care? Are you going to get a whole lot out of that playbook? Why don't we just add another game?
Yeah.
That's true. Or what's something you could do like in basketball, right, where you have, and I know it's a actual tournament and it matters, but with the NIL tournament, right, people seem to love that idea and it seemed to work really well for the players.
Yeah.
Is there some way that you could tie NIL to preseason? Like maybe you have an SEC Big Ten challenge that runs for the preseason game, and whichever conference has the better record, they get X number of dollars for their NIL budget for the next year or something, something like that.
Yeah.
Next question. What will be the major storylines for both Alabama and Auburn after tomorrow's final spring practice?
I think the storyline for Alabama will continue to be Ryan Grubb, the offense, who looks like the quarterback's going to be to lead that team come fall. How many quarterbacks are going to be in the room? I think it'll center around the quarterbacks at Alabama. For Auburn, I think it comes back down to maybe with all the things you're hearing about wide receivers, other positions that they've shored up, I don't think it's so much about personnel. I think it's more about Hugh Freeze. And, all right, it seems like everything is in place. I'm not saying to win a national title, but at least where you're winning 8-9 games next season, and how much pressure is on him. That's what I think. What about you, Conrad?
Yeah, I mean, I think for both of them, again, I think the main takeaways for a lot of people are going to be quarterback and wide receiver play. I will say for Auburn, I think coming out, there's going to be a sense of optimism, getting to see how these receivers have developed, getting to see a guy like Jackson Arnold, who I imagine, especially in a practice setting, is probably going to look light years better than what you've seen the last couple of years at the quarterback position. And I think for Alabama, it's just going to be very interesting to see how the situation plays out, because like Pat alluded to earlier, I think we all have a pretty good feeling about a certain guy in the quarterback room that's probably not going to be there for much longer.
Let me just throw it out there. I'll say it. You don't have to be the bad guy. I don't feel like Austin Mack's going to be there.
No, I don't either. And I think that that's going to be part of the narrative is, all right, it's Ty Simpson and Keelan Russell. Who's going to win this in fall camp? Are we going with the experienced guy or the guy with the higher ceiling that maybe is going to have some bumps along the way because he's a freshman?
And the follow-up to that is Josh Hype. Well, he couldn't make a run at Austin Mack.
No.
Nope.
Sorry, Austin.
Nope.
Back to the West Coast.
And if that happens, like you guys feel like it may, which I'm not debating, that you would absolutely think that Alabama would be very active
Yes.
in the transfer portal from a depth perception standpoint.
Yes.
At that position.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the transfer portal opens up on Wednesday. All right, final question of the week. Which fan base will be more optimistic on Sunday after what they saw on Saturday at the final spring practice? Alabama or Auburn fans?
It's crazy. I think it's going to be Auburn fans. But
I don't think that's crazy.
No, let me explain, though, the standard of what Alabama fans have been used to. Take away the measly 9 wins that they had last year. Meanwhile, as Auburn has, when's the last time that Auburn won 8 games?
2017?
Well,
right?
2017 was when the last time they won 10 games. Would it have been? I don't even know.
It would have been 20,
but that just
19,
that,
18.
But the fact that we're debating what year it was, when's the last time they won 8 games, I think says it all.
Yeah.
The lower expectations, and based on what you have, I think that there's a higher bar, obviously, with Kalen DeBoer and Alabama right now, just based on recent success.
Yeah, it was 2019. They won 9. They went 9-4 in 2019.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. I think it's going to be Auburn fans, and I think it's more. And this is in no way a shot at Auburn fans, but I think there's more room for excitement with the possibility of what Auburn could be this year. Whereas with Alabama, everyone's going to be incredibly, incredibly critical of what they see because their expectation is to go and win and compete for a national championship. Whereas Auburn fans are just hoping to get back to that 8-9 win territory. And I think you're going to see a lot of good things tomorrow from Auburn. And I think for Alabama, depending on how the quarterbacks look, you're going to have some people that are probably a little concerned.
Well, hey, based on Cowboys' call yesterday, if that's the sentiment of every Alabama fan, then Kalen DeBoer, go ahead and get the family ready.
That is today's Pat Ponders, brought to you by Courtesy GMC in Trussville. Visit them this weekend right there in Trussville off of I-459, exit 32. When we come back on Three Man Front, we'll put a bow on this week's programming here on Jocks 94.5 on Three Man Front. We'll give you the very latest on the Nico situation at Tennessee. That's next on Three Man Front. We're closing it down here at Twin Peaks and Hoover. Paul Feinbaum will continue the festivities, and I'm sure the Tennessee alum that he is will have plenty to talk about when it comes to Nico Iamaleava, as he is right now. A lot of questions going on in regards to whether he is going to be the quarterback at the University of Tennessee moving forward.
Is it someone's birthday?
We got him to come over and do that for Landrum.
No, somebody ordered the 36-ounce beer.
FSU Dave. Somebody said, I can top FSU Dave.
I think it was somebody's birthday.
So anyway, you can pay very close attention as the orange and white game is tomorrow at 2 o'clock there from Neyland Stadium. So I guess if he is a part of the, what do they call it, the Vol Walk? Is that what they call it before the game?
Yes, Vol Walk.
So if he's there involved in the Vol Walk, but he was at a positions group dinner at the offensive coordinator's house Thursday night, but he did not go to practice this morning.
Did they eat wings at the dinner?
I don't know. Maybe that was
I'm
his
just
problem.
saying. Maybe this
Coach brought
could
in
all
some
be a
fresh
coincidence.
T-bones. Maybe he's a big. Maybe the guy's wife makes a mean lasagna. Who knows? Interesting. 205-834-9450. That's the text line. We appreciate your text every single day. It does look like my cumulative score right now not looking good. In our Masters bracket pool, we all took 5 golfers. We drafted them the other day, and then we combined the total scores.
So
right now I'm
+2?
at +2.
Okay.
Yeah. Brooks Koepka, totally I can't use that word. He really messed me up here. Brooks Koepka fell apart, and he's going to miss the cut. He is at 5 over. He finished 3 over today, but 5 over for the tournament. And then Patrick Cantlay, the projected cut was +2. Now it looks like it's +1, and Cantlay is at +2. So who are your other golfers? Where are you right now?
I am at -6.
-6?
Yep. Oberg is -5. Hatton is -3. Schauffele -2. I've got Straka at +1 and Henley +3. So Henley's the only one of the group that more than likely, as of this moment, will not make the cut. So, and earlier, the last time we checked, Molly was pretty much.
She's solid still.
Yeah.
Cam Smith -1.
Yeah,
and
she's having
-1.
Quite the tournament so far.
She is 14 under.
Jeepers.
Yep. So, Pat, looks like it's going to be you and Molly, me and Conrad will just enjoy the pimento cheese.
Hey, I'm
You said
back in.
she's
I'm in respectable territory now. I'm
No,
only
you're
5
fine.
over.
You said she's 14? 14 under?
If I have all our golfers right. I
Okay.
got, McElroy, Fleetwood, Matsuyama,
Cam Smith.
Morikawa, and Cam Smith. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm -6, so I'm 8 strokes behind Molly.
Goodness. So it makes it so fun. It can all fall apart in just a moment's notice.
That jacket's too big on her. I just need to keep the jacket.
Why don't you get one made from Nordstrom and give her that one?
I think that's exactly what I'll do.
The one that's made of rayon and plastic.
Yes, I'm going to call Nick Faldo and get the particulars and get that. Make that
I did
happen.
not realize the buttons on that thing was actually the Masters logo. All right, so when we come back on Monday, what do we know about Nico? What's your projection? You think Nico is still a member of the Tennessee football team?
Well, here's the thing. Keep in mind the transfer portal opens up Wednesday. So there could be a situation where he doesn't play tomorrow. You don't see him tomorrow. But negotiations continue, and then he stays put, and he's still a member of the Vols.
What about you, Conrad?
Yeah, I think when the dust settles, I think he's a starting quarterback for Tennessee this season. Yeah.
Yep, I do too.
Yeah, they get something figured out. Could be stock, land.
But you know what I'm rooting for? I'm rooting for him not showing up tomorrow.
Oh well, I mean, yes. We want the
pulling
drama.
for the chaos.
Because there's going to have to be some serious situations go down in the game of college football. And I'm
This
talking
needs
about,
to happen for other things down the road to happen.
Absolutely. Like
one way or the other.
So would he
this
just
needs to
completely
happen.
no-show, or does he show up on the sideline in street clothes and he's just there observing?
No. There's no way they let him on that sideline.
He's just not there at all.
Nope. Unless they come to some type of agreement, there's no way you let him do that.
It'll be very interesting to see how his teammates respond. He might not be welcome back. We appreciate all our friends at Twin Peaks. Appreciate all of you. You make it go every single day. Enjoy the rest of your day. Hopefully we'll see you tonight. Protective Stadium as the Stallions with their home opener taking on the Arlington Renegades. From all of us to all of you, thanks for joining us. Paul Feinbaum is next.